I feel like as an artist, you run the risk of being late to your own party when you sit on your music for too long.
Yeah.
You know? And you run the risk of being late to your own party sonically, because now it's been 8 months and you're over the song, even though that might be your biggest song ever.
And yeah.
And you run the risk of being late to your own party of a possible connection point via your content. You know? Like, if you would have dropped that shit 8 months ago, that maybe would have like had a way deeper connection with the audience just because of like the culture clash, the alignment of what's being
zeitgeist of shit.
Yeah, it's like you're missing out on shit, bro.
So true, yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer in like, we're just a vessel. And so if something is coming to me in the studio to like be expressed, I know it's just time for that idea to come to life. And if I don't do it, someone else will.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you.
Appreciate you doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Out the gate, I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Well, first I'm going to ask, because I feel like this is a true statement.
Yeah.
I feel like you are arguably the most successful independent artist of all time. And I mean independent in terms of self-funded.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'd say, yeah, it'd be hard to argue not.
Okay. And
it just depends on what is the like metric we're using as like most successful independent artists of all time. Plaques, money.
I would say revenue, I think, is up there.
Yeah.
Plaques as well. I mean, you got 30 platinum records, you know.
Is that what it's at now?
It's at 30. I counted yesterday.
Golly.
Yeah, I didn't even count the gold. I didn't count the albums either.
Golly, man.
It's just within your singles. It's 30 platinum.
Shit.
Yeah. And then, I mean, revenue, I did want to ask you, I mean, you know, because I was doing my research and I started to think to myself, okay, if we are using revenue as a metric for most successful independent artists of all time, have you earned upwards of $100 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
Well, I've spent a lot of it. It feels crazy, man. It's just, it feels like it was a lot of work with nothing moving. And then all of a sudden everything toppled over, you know? And, you know, I have a catalog of 500-something songs and I own all of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, 100%er on.
Crazy.
You know? So it's, when you look at the master and the pub side, it's crazy.
Yeah. For those who don't know, what does 100%er mean?
Just, I own 100% of the song because I produced it myself. There was maybe no samples on it and I wrote it.
Yeah.
So you look at a song like Ain't Nobody Taking My Baby or What They Want or Handsomer that went platinum in 9 months. Like, those are songs like I produced. There was no sample. I wrote it. I mixed it. I mastered it. I engineered it. 100%.
That's incredible. And so, I mean, now this is, you say that you spend a lot of money, but I think you do have to spend a lot of money to fund a career like this a lot of times, right? I mean, you just also put out a trailer, which is fire, by the way.
Thank you.
For the new album,
Yeah.
Wild. And you also got a date for it now.
Yeah, June 27th.
June 20th.
Yeah.
I'm curious, why did you hold off on the date?
I was trying to map out, the honest answer is like, I was like, all right, let me try to wait as long as possible to make sure Taylor Swift is not dropping on the date.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was like, let me just hold off because I want to try to compete for a #1, but I think Lord is dropping on the 27th, so she'll probably get it for sure, but we're going to try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how are you having those conversations? How are you calling people to see who's dropping and whatnot?
Yeah, like when we do meetings with like Meta and fucking TikTok, and I'm like, yo, who's dropping in June? And they like can't super say, but you know, people talk.
Yeah, they let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're competing for that #1 spot.
Yeah, but like not from a place where I'm making the goal an enemy. That's what I used to do. And that's when I wouldn't reach the goal, then I made an enemy out of the goal. And it like caused me to go into not a spiral, but like it just really like upset me or pissed me off or whatever. It's like, it's fun to have goals, but I don't want to make it an enemy.
For sure.
you know?
No, but let's talk about that a little bit more, because in your book, it was you all along. You talk about that a lot. Light motivation versus dark motivation.
Yeah. Man, when I was younger, like, and this is the thing, it's like dark motivation. First of all, this concept was given to me by my therapist, right? And light motivation is operating from a place of like love and honoring my gift of creativity and my genuine adoration for connection and those kind of energies. Dark motivation is like, fuck you. I'm gonna prove that I'm better than you, and I need this for validation, and you know, all like that shit can work to a certain extent. It's just not sustainable, and it's no way to live. And you know, I think a lot of people, they're always like, well, that was Kobe shit, that was Michael Jordan shit. It's like, they were athletes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a definitive.
There was a forum for where and when they would activate that fucking mindset.
Yes.
You know, like, as an artist, your life is spent off the court. You know what I'm saying? So like, you can't be moving around like that forever. Like I said, you can do it. And I was using that shit for like a little bit, but you're gonna end up just fucking burning out, bro. Like that, constantly feeling like you need some sort of like problem or negative motivator. Like you need to create chips on your shoulder. It's nuts.
It is. You know what? You were asking me off camera, like, what does it feel like to be like 40 as well? And the other thing that I just thought about when you said that is like, I had this thing with Jesse and Byron. They know it. It's an inside joke, but maybe not anymore, I guess. But but I said I have a shit list. But anybody can get on my shit list.
Right.
Like, it didn't matter. Like, if you took my water, like, you know, the SNL skit with Drake where they take the water throw, he's like, all right, well, it's a beef thing. You know, like.
Just the littlest thing could get you added.
But just to give me the extra motivation to go and pursue the thing.
Yeah.
So that I just got to a point where I'm like, this is.
It's not healthy.
No.
It's not healthy. And like I said, I understand the people who try to like make the analogy of athletes and sports and like, well, how do you think Tom Brady? And it's like, those dudes were playing sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a win column, there's a loss column.
There's a win. It's finite.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's a winner and a loser at the end of the game.
Yeah.
This is art, bro. It's like, there is no winner and loser of shit. And it's like I said, we spend so much of our time off the court. We got to figure out how to last mentally, spiritually. Yeah.
Is that why you were talking about Spotify hiding the numbers?
Yeah, I think it is a disservice to everyone. And I'm not saying that like, you know, Spotify shouldn't have the numbers,
right?
Have access to their numbers, obviously. But it's like the artist, if you're signed to a label, and Spotify should be the only ones that know the business of the music business. You know what I mean? Like the fans and the public should just know the music. We'll know business. That's for us. This is our business.
Yeah.
It's not y'all's business though. It's not the public's business to know about the business of Spotify.
Would it make sense for all artists to have access to like a chart metric, for example, to all the numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking about that and I was like, if they did hide the numbers, you know, devil's advocate, you maybe don't do a song a week on SoundCloud.
True. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you have access to those numbers from back and then you look, someone like you is definitely going to go and look for it.
That's the
and
thing.
research
Like, that's what I was saying. Like, I feed into it too because like I like numbers. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I look at Apple and I'm like, man, I don't see any chatter about Apple and like what songs are doing and monthly listeners and you know, you just look at charts, which is fine. But I just think the conversation would shift from numbers to music. And I think that's important. I wish more people talked about music and what they liked about this album or what they didn't like about the album musically. But whenever I see people having debates, it's always just like, just numbers based.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's only because you have access to the numbers.
Every fan, there's no such thing as like a fan of music, it seems like. They're all critics, especially in hip hop.
Right.
Everybody has like, oh, well, what did they do first week or whatever? Okay, so we kind of move off of it. But just what if you just like it?
It ruins it, bro. I look at it like basketball. It's like, just watch people hoop. You know? Like, I don't care that he averages more points or like more whatever. Like, you watch people hoop and there's certain shit that they're doing that doesn't show up in the stat column. And you're just like, nah, he's important. Like an Alex Caruso. You know what I mean? It's like, he's nice.
Yeah.
But if you were to just look at pure stats, You know, even like a Draymond, he gets a lot of flack, but like you watch him play, it's like he's doing a lot of shit that maybe doesn't show up in the stat column, but it's like,
But he's important.
yeah, but for the fans who's just like, oh, all I'm looking at is numbers, we just can't even have like a meaningful contextual conversation. You know, there's no depth. If you're just gonna say, well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen, this artist is bigger than Beyonce because they have more monthly listeners. It's like, what are we talking about? Like, what?
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right, listen up, folks. If you're an artist, manager, or promoter listening to this podcast and you're looking to elevate your game, 5483 Entertainment Solutions are the folks you have to call. From tour managing, transportation, and security, 5483 ES handles the behind the scenes so you can focus on what you do best, being in the spotlight. Now, they work with trusted vendors in every major city, whether it's in LA, Toronto, New York City, London, or Paris, any corner of North America and Europe. These are the guys you want in your corner. Listen, this is more than just a paid sponsorship ad for this podcast. This is a shout out to a good friend and a service I've personally used many times, both in LA and Toronto. 5483 came through for me when I really needed personnel, so I stand behind 5483 and the vendors they work with. These are vetted professional teams who get the job done. Now, with that said, whether you're booking a show, hitting the road, or planning a full tour, their team makes everything smooth, safe, and professional. If you want your next performance shoot or event to run like a well-oiled machine, head over to 5483es.com. That's 5483es.com and discover how they can bring your vision to life. Professional support for creative people, that's 5483 Entertainment Solutions. Now back to the pod. You had a lot of depth in Santiago, man. That's a amazing album.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm a fan of your catalog.
Thank you, bro.
I'm a fan. Honestly, this is an important podcast for me because a lot of what you talked about in prior interviews or conversations or podcasts is so much game.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I thought to myself, if there's one artist to have on this podcast who really understands the business and really gets it and can put on their business hat, their business mind, their artist mind, it's Russ.
Thank you, man.
So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you for doing this, right?
Yeah.
But aside from that, like the music is dope. I've just been a fan from time.
Yeah.
You know? I discovered you with What They Want.
Yeah.
In and around the time the bidding war started happening for Jesse.
Yeah. It was right around that I feel like me and Jesse kind of blew up roughly around the same time.
Yeah. You're in the same class.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
And I knew you were lit because when we met at Quad Studios, this is how I knew you were the man. I'm like,
man.
This guy's a motherfucker.
This is awful. I'm sure this is an awful
No,
story.
not at all. Not at all. But before we met at Quad Studios, you were there, Boogus was there, a couple of other homies.
Yeah.
But we got there at that was after a listening party or a listening session in New York for Jesse.
Yeah.
So we got at the studio at 10:30 p.m. or 11 p.m. You guys didn't start making a record, which that turned out to be Basement, until 4 a.m.
Golly.
But because for 5 hours, we were just talking shop.
Yeah. And that's so important though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were just but you were very analytical of the business and just you had so much game. I'm like, this is why this guy's gonna win.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought about that and just being like, oh man, he's so critical of the game. Where does that all come from?
Just genuinely caring, you know, about the game that I'm in. It's like I have to care about my shit. No one's gonna care about my shit more than me. You know, I don't want to get fucked. I don't want to get screwed. I want to know what's going on with splits. I want to know what's going on with everything, bro. It's like, you know, and if I don't have the answers to everything, you know? If I don't have the answer though, I have somebody in my phone who does. And so I'll call and ask, you know? So a lot of people just think I walked in with all this knowledge. No, I just asked so many fucking questions, or I was, you know, watching hella interviews, or, you know, if I don't understand something, I'm going to call my lawyer and be like, what is this? Even if there's no contract on the table, I'm just like, I might have seen an interview with you talking about something, and I'm like, what does that even mean? I'll just call my lawyer and ask, or call my business manager, or call my manager.
Curious.
Yeah. I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At all times.
Yeah.
Super important.
Have to.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, because there's a lot of artists who watch this podcast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of managers up and coming, aspiring, who are trying to get into the business. You know, in 2025,
Yeah.
what advice would you give to an artist who is trying to break into this game?
It's crazy, bro. It's a different landscape now. I think there's no way around it. It's a visual dominated landscape right now. You need visuals. And I don't think that that means they need to be these crispy fucking like overproduced visuals. But you better get out that iPhone and go crazy, you know, at least.
Yeah.
You know, so I think a song a month with you know, a gang of visuals to accompany it is the wave. And then move on. Song a month.
And then move on.
Move on. Song a month though. And have an album in the tuck. A lot of artists don't move prepared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And what I mean by that is like, when I decided I was going to do a song a week, I didn't drop the first one until I had 26 songs done and an album, you know? Because I was moving like I knew I was going to blow up.
Yeah.
So whenever one of these takes off, or 2 or 3 or 4 of them takes off, and I finally blow up and I have enough of a fan base who would give a fuck enough about me to check out an album, I'm not going to have to like scramble and lose the momentum that I just gained because I got to go now make the debut.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the debut.
You're sitting on the debut.
You know, so I think artists, like, you have to be patient in order to be consistent. So you might have to take 6 months off from dropping to go make a gang of music and have a project you're sitting on. Even if the project is just like a rough 8-10 song thing, but, you know, have 12 songs in the stash and have a 10-song album sitting there and then move.
You know what's super important about that as well? Not getting precious about the music that you have in the stash.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will put that music away and be like, and then come back around to like, nah, I could beat this.
But see, that's okay, because guess what? If you're sitting on 12 songs and then you're sitting on a 10-song project, right? What that does is it allows you to record while you're dropping these 12. And guess what? If you're making some shit and you're like, this is way better than this shit on the album, swap it. So now that song that's on the album gets replaced with this one, and that song on the album now just goes to the like being dropped pile.
Smart.
You know, that's what I was doing. I was just like, I had an album that ended up becoming There's Really a Wolf, but I was making shit the whole time that would just end up getting swapped.
Yeah.
So like the whole first draft of There's Really a Wolf like ended up coming out.
Right.
On SoundCloud. You see what I'm saying? Because I was recording the whole time swapping.
Okay, that makes sense.
The only one that I sat on and refused to drop was Cherry Hill.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I had Cherry Hill for 3 years.
Banger.
Yeah, thank you. But that one was on the album and I refused to drop it. Because I was like, nah. Like this
you knew?
Yeah, but what's crazy is like I didn't feel that way about Losing Control.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's wild to think about. Like, I didn't think Losing Control, What They Want, Pull the Trigger, or Do It Myself, which ended up being like the 4 singles off of There's Really a Wolf. I didn't think that those 4 needed to be on the album. Those were in the drop pile, which is like nuts.
Important to note because you got a feeling about these records, but you never know.
You never know. You never know. And you know, back then I thought everything I was doing was a smash. You know what I mean? So I was like, how do you even tell? But yeah, I think it's important to be prepared. I see too many artists scramble. You know, they get fucking overwhelmed by their own situation. They might drop 2 songs, 3 songs, and there's some buzz going on, and people are calling it. And now they're all out of sorts because they got nothing left to drop.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have enough music to create a fan base. You know? Like, you need a gang of music to even create a fan base.
It's for context. I mean, you dropped 11 projects in a span of 3 years.
Yeah.
2011 to 2014.
Yeah.
You then, I mean, you tell it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, God, bro, I kind of hit the ground running. When I think back on it, it's like, golly, man, I must have had a lot to say. But yeah, December 2011 was the first project. And then like it was really like 2 years, like, cause then 2012 to 2014, it was 10 more.
Right.
And then it was a song a week for 2.5 years, something like that.
Crazy. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going into the debut with, 200 songs out.
Wow.
Like the debut album is like 200 songs later.
Yeah.
you know? And so,
Wow.
yeah, it's like I was prepared for this shit.
Yeah.
You know, I was prepared and ready to have a fan base because as soon as the songs blew up, I think why it went so big so fast were like, you know, by my second album, I'm selling out Staples Centers because the shit blew up and people have 200 songs.
Yeah.
So even if you only like 20 of them, if you can name an artist that you love 20 songs of theirs, you're a huge fan.
Right.
20 songs that you love?
Right.
That's a lot.
I think of that in terms of like there's 3 stories that every artist is telling the audience. So there's a sonic story, obviously the music.
Yeah.
There's the visual story.
Yeah.
The content, the videos. And then there's the story of whether the audience should trust you as an artist or not, that they're gonna be there for them in their life.
Wow.
So for you,
wow,
it was like you were constantly delivering to the audience.
Yeah.
And it's now reaffirming to the audience, he gets what I'm going through.
Yeah.
He can say things that I'm thinking about but don't know how to say.
Yeah.
And I can bet that he's gonna be here next week and next month and next year.
Yeah.
Because he's consistently delivering.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the fan connect with the artist.
That's real, bro. Wow. I never looked at it like that. That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those things, and I think a lot of people are missing that component. Listen, one thing that gets me hyped about the music business is when artists figure out how to capitalize on marketing moments by supporting them with great strategy. For example, artist Johnny Two Phones had a major moment when the New York Yankees played his song in the stadium to open up the 2025 season, and instead of wasting it, he had his ForeverFan link posted so thousands of people who had never heard of him could go down his funnel and become real fans. Now, if you never heard of ForeverFan, that's okay. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a platform built for music artists to host their website, text their fans, and email them all in one place. On top of that, there's tools to make sure you properly engage with your fans so you can make even more money when you launch direct-to-fan campaigns. Or when you want to do something unique, like when artist Erica Mason used ForeverFan to gamify her tour. She asked fans to vote on which cities her tour should go to and offered additional awards to the fans in the top voting cities to make it even sweeter. Artists today are moving differently, and in a new era, we require new tools. It's not enough to just gain casual fans. You need forever fans. Get started by building your forever fan base today at foreverfanmusic.com. Now back to the pod.
I feel like as an artist, you run the risk of being late to your own party when you sit on your music for too long.
Yeah.
You know? And you run the risk of being late to your own party sonically, because now it's been 8 months and you're over the song, even though that might be your biggest song ever.
And you know, yeah.
And you run the risk of being late to your own party of a possible connection point via your content. You know, like if you would have dropped that shit 8 months ago, that maybe would have like had a way deeper connection with the audience just because of like the culture clash, the alignment of what's being
zeitgeist of shit.
Yeah, it's like you're missing out on shit, bro.
So true, yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer in like, we're just a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
And so if something is coming to me in the studio to like be expressed, I know it's just time for that idea to come to life. And if I don't do it, someone else will. And I'm gonna miss out on being able to be the conduit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the first one to speak on that.
Yeah, like get that shit out, bro. It's dying to come out. That idea is dying to come out. That's why it came through you.
Right, and to that point as well, you tweeted the other day, is like, keep things up longer than 48 hours.
Oh my God, bro, I'm the worst advocate for this because I do not follow that practice. I fucking no, but like that's why I tweeted that.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, note to self.
You delete a lot of shit.
Oh my God, bro. It's like, I have more deleted posts than like posts that are out.
Okay.
But that's why I need that message, because it's like, I've seen shit of mine that I posted, it did jack shit, and then 2 weeks later or a year later, it goes dumb.
Yeah.
The same post from a year ago. And it's like, whoa, bro, like what if I would have just deleted that?
When you say post, you mean?
Like a TikTok post.
Oh, okay.
That now makes the sound go dumb.
What's an example of that?
315.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, imagine if like when I was first posting, I was like, oh, this is whack. Like nothing's working.
Yeah.
Just take down all this shit.
Yeah. And that's how you felt? when it was first?
Nah. Well, I'm sure at some point I did, but I was just like, that was when I was doing Song a Week again. So doing Song a Week, it makes me detached from what the song does, like commercially. I don't have time to care. I got another one coming out next week.
Okay.
It's like this little like trick I play in my own brain. It's like a perfectly curated release strategy for like how I think.
You get yourself more than anybody else. So like, this is how I'm going to be able to move on to the
But I didn't even realize that like I needed that as a human. I didn't realize that Song a Week is this pseudo medicine for me to like sort of heal that need for results. You know, it's like if I put out a song this week and it does nothing, and I don't have another song coming out for 6 months, that nothingness that song did is gonna linger and make me feel like, damn, bro, that was a flop. Like that might make me second guess the next one. But if I'm doing song a week, it's like, fuck whatever that did.
Right.
I'm back in the gym. You know what I mean? It's like on to the next game, you know? And so, man, I love Song a Week. I don't think artists could do it now. I don't think the climate is that. I think I can still do it just because my fans are conditioned for it.
Right.
But I wouldn't even recommend Song a Week for people.
I think well, Nick D does like, I think a song every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, that's good.
Something like that.
That's like 2 a month. Yeah, 2 a month is like the max I would do.
Yeah, but he puts a lot of content around it, it seems like, you know what I mean?
Right.
He's crushing it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, Russ is somebody that you also know and you did a deal with.
Crazy hustle, crazy work ethic.
Crazy work ethic. That's the other thing, man, where I'm like in this business. I think like if you're a new artist, a lot of people get it twisted where they say, oh man, if I can just get this music to Russ, and he's gonna love it, my life is gonna change.
It's like, then what? Like, what would I do for you?
What are you gonna do?
It's like, I can't make people like your shit.
Or you can't make them like, like they still gotta do the work.
Yeah, I can give you $100,000.
Yeah.
Right
what
now.
What do you do with that?
You don't even know what to do with it.
Right.
And it's also like $100,000's not gonna make you be a superstar. You know how many superstars we would have if that's all it took was $100,000?
Yeah, if you had that's the formula.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay. But let's say that, okay, well, let's just, for argument's sake, brand new artist, or even 10 grand or 1K, how do they put that money to work? Because I know back then, you and Boogus, you guys spent $5K to build out the studio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And an amazing thing that you talk about.
That was like $2,500. Yeah.
What's that?
It was like $2,500.
Oh, it was like $2,500?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Right? And it was a simple setup just to record.
Yeah.
But you own the means of operation.
Right. That's mandatory.
Right.
If you're an artist and you don't have the studio in the house, you are bullshitting. Straight up. Straight up. Like, what? You can't even get in as many reps as I can.
Yeah.
You know? And you don't need a crazy expensive, you don't even need that setup. You know? Like.
What does an artist need today?
You need a mic, your fucking laptop. You don't even need speakers, dog. Like when I record in hotel rooms, I don't even use speakers. I don't have a mic stand. I hold the mic. I got the audio interface and I got my laptop. That's it. I made Ain't Nobody Take My Baby Like That, platinum.
Crazy.
In the hotel room in Toronto.
I love your affinity for Toronto, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a good city.
Yeah, man. I love, I mean, you work with a lot of people from Toronto, from, you know, Aaron Paris.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
He just scored the trailer.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah.
Shout out Aaron
He's
Paris,
a genius,
man.
bro.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
Strings from Paris.
Yeah.
Fire. Did you have him on tour?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great. I remember seeing him on Instagram when he had like 10,000 followers.
That's how I found him.
Doing
just
the
being
videos.
a nutcase in his room, playing every instrument.
Playing every instrument.
Like, oh, you're an alien. Where are you at?
Yeah. And then I know, you know, Boy Wonder.
Of course.
Jesse.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Justin Nozuka on Santiago.
I love Justin Nozuka.
Yeah, he's dope. I just had coffee with his brother like 2 months ago.
George.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Justin's crazy talented. But yeah, bro, it's like you got to have the studio in the house at least. You got to have some setup. It can be janky, but you got to be able to get the reps in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
Now, if somebody does have a budget of, let's say, $10,000, what do we, so obviously own the means of the operation, so the studio. What
10 grand. We're going to assume like you have other ways to pay your bills outside of this 10 grand.
Yes.
Because for some people, it's like, dog, put that 10 grand towards your life.
Yes.
So you have peace of mind.
Fair enough.
So you can create from a like clear-headed, you know what I mean? But let's just assume like this is just some extra shit. I I don't super believe in ads like that, just because I think that ads only work if it's a moving train, you know? Meaning like, if you have something that is organically moving and then you spend some money on it.
Correct.
Yeah. But like, you can't, believe me, I've spent far more than 10 grand on ads for a song that wasn't organically moving, and it didn't make it move.
Even bigger, yeah.
No, because people didn't like the song like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with 10 grand for a new artist, I would say put that towards visuals. I would say try to, get your, like I said, song a month with visuals. And if you got 10 grand, try to get something crispy shot for a rack,
Yeah.
So at least you got 10 songs with 10 visuals, right? You got 10 months figured out. Hopefully by that 10 months is up, your music is generating a little something, Here's the disclaimer. The music has to be great.
Yeah.
That's the shit that like nobody like
people talk
talks
about your story, and they're like,
yeah, but it's like I had resisted for years saying that.
How come?
Because it feels mean. You know what I mean? But it's like, for me, right? 99% of the time why artists are not blowing up, it's the music is not good enough. That's the harsh reality. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
And the issue is, and I get it, no artist ever thinks it's the music, And I can say confidently, my first 11 projects, the music was not good enough until like Colorblind, Pink Elephant, so like project 9 and 10. Before then, it was literally not good enough. This is me saying it. At the time, I thought it was. Of course, you couldn't tell me it wasn't. I thought that was the greatest shit ever. But deep down, I kind of knew.
You knew?
Yeah, because I would play like my first project and I would, so zoomed in on it, like this is the hardest shit ever. And then I would go listen to the Marathon or like Take Care, and I was like,
but is it?
This sounds really good. This sounds a lot better than my shit. And so like, I had to just convince myself that it's all good. Like, I'm on my way though. Like, I know I'm dope. Like, just hype yourself up. But the music has to be great. And a lot of people's shit is not great. And that is the reality. And it sucks. It's a shitty thing. Like, you love music, you want to do it. But if it's not good enough, it doesn't matter how much work you're putting in. I think we got to stop with that shit. This whole like, oh, if you just work hard, you'll make it. No, you won't. It's not true. Sometimes your shit isn't good. I know people who have put out 1,000 songs and they're all ass. And so that person is not anywhere.
They're not being real with themselves.
He's worked harder than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Gary Vee has this amazing, like, it's like a random YouTube video I saw like years ago. Somebody came up to him and was like trying to be a YouTuber. And they had asked him like, I've put out 130 videos or 200 videos or whatever it was, and I'm not seeing any results. And I thought his advice to that person was so good. He said, I'm going to tell you something that I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to tell you something that I don't usually tell people, but you need to switch it up. You clearly have enough product out there that has given you enough research to let you know you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? And for me, it just rang so true. Like, I don't know, maybe that person just needs to make different videos, or maybe they don't need to be doing that career at all. But I know for me, when I put out 11 projects and there was no results, I knew innately that I was doing something wrong. Because I really believed the music was good enough. So I was like, all right, well, I'm doing something wrong with the approach then, with the release, which is what led to the Song a Week.
Which is a stepping stone for you, right? Because you have the research. But you're actually looking, it's like, okay, why? You're not trying to fool yourself.
No.
But you're sitting here being like, I know the music is good. It's not great. It's not connecting. Why?
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah. And I also think, we got to stop with this, like, if you don't make $1 million a year off your music, you're not successful. Like, bro, if you're like, it's too black and white. Artists need to be cool with, like, I'm not saying they're not, but there needs to be more information out there and more sort of reassurance that, hey, bro, you can make 70 grand in the year. And that's awesome. You made it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're paying your bills off of music, you made it.
100%.
Simple as that. I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that should be considered a win too. You
No,
know?
that's a fact.
It can't just be a win if I'm charting on Billboard or if I'm like selling out show or
Only
what.
so many spots for that.
Yeah,
man.
bro. It's like, nah, man. Like not everyone. There's people who play basketball professionally who make 60 grand a year.
Yeah.
That's lit though.
Yeah, yeah. You're doing what you
Not
love.
everyone's gonna make 40 mil a year.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And I know for me, like when I was coming up, like I was not ever going for that. I'm like, nah, I need to make fucking, you know, because I had big dreams and big goals. But as I've gotten older, I just realized that like, bro, it's not going to pan out like this for everyone.
Right.
But you can't feel like a loser and a failure if like, yeah, I mean, I pay my bills off of music, but like I've never charted on Billboard and did so like, yeah, I'm just a failure. You know, it's like you gotta change your metric of what success is.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
like you get to wake up and make songs and put them out and you don't have to go get a job. Like that's a win. And honestly, even if you're not able to pay your bills off of music, but you have a situation where you're able to express yourself freely, you know, like maybe that's a win for you too.
Yeah.
You know, it can't just be this like really toxic culture of like, you don't have $1 million, you're a fucking loser. It's like, oh golly, man.
Yeah, the material side of it.
It's brutal. Yeah.
But you used to have that conversation with yourself, right?
What?
Where it's like if I don't have the Hot 100, if I don't have the money.
Man.
So you're
Yeah.
you're coming from experience. it
Yeah,
seems like.
because I know what it's like to sort of, like I was talking about earlier, making a goal out of your enemy
Yeah.
and desperately needing external validation to the point that all this shit that I've accomplished doesn't mean anything because of the one thing I haven't accomplished. You know, well, I've never had a Billboard #1 song. So really how sick is this? You know, like
Right.
it's like, bro, that's like ridiculous. Or I don't have a Grammy, never even been nominated. So like, I don't know, I just kind of feel like a loser. Like, you know, it just makes you overlook all the things you've done. It's like that shit is just it's a recipe for depression, man. It really is.
Yeah.
To just ignore what you've done, not be grateful for it, not be able to self-acknowledge, you know, and give yourself recognition. I used to talk about this in therapy. It's like, why, I think the question was, this was like the first session I had like years ago. It was like, why do I need the world to clap for me before I can clap for myself?
That's a bar.
You know?
Yeah.
Because that was a real thing I struggled with. I still do every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I won't clap for me until the Grammys does. I won't clap for me until Billboard says, here's your #1. You know, oh, I got the #5 album, fuck this.
Crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it because I come from the sports background where it's like,
Yes.
you either won or you're a loser.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's a really bad spot to be in.
As an artist.
As an artist, it's just not fucking healthy. So the metric for my goal is progress. That's it.
Yeah. And what does that look like?
For sometimes it's not even commercially, it's not even numerically. Sometimes it's like,
Right. That's why I ask. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes like it's, did I express myself in an even more authentic way this time? You know, like with this album with Wild, I'm like, this is progress for me because I was able to create an album that has the depth of like a Santiago, but it also has the freedom and versatility and liberation that if There's Really a Wolf has. You know, that's progress for me because I'm usually very black and white with how I think
Yeah.
and with my art and everything. And so for me, Wild is this beautiful gray area where I was able to express all my favorite sides of me as an artist. That's progress.
Yeah.
You know? So if the album doesn't chart higher than, you know, Santiago or whatever, it's like, but I made progress artistically. I made progress as a person, you know? And especially like Billboard charts and shit like that, it's so out of your control.
No, it's all
like,
bullshit too. I mean,
bro, you could, like, there's weeks, right, where the #1 album that week sold 52,000.
yeah. And it's
You know what I mean?
#1.
And it's #1.
Yeah.
Then there's weeks where the #7 album sold 52,000.
Yeah.
You just picked the wrong week.
Right.
You know what I
Right,
mean? It's
right.
not this like, guaranteed thing where if you sell this amount, you will get a number one. Like, it depends who's fucking dropping. It depends if there's a tragedy in the world that happened on your day.
Yo, and I'm a,
You know?
and you know this, like, but like, just keeping it a buck, man. Like, there are people who have the relationships with the folks at Billboard, and they talk to them and they call them from the major labels, and they say, okay, so but if we put together this, that, and the third. So remember, they took away the bundle stuff.
Yeah.
And then immediately though, they started. People at the labels were calling their people at Billboard or Illuminate or whatever the hell it is. They're like, but what if we did it this way? Can we? No, not that way. Okay, cool. But what if we did it this way?
Yeah.
That's acceptable?
Yeah.
Off to the races. It's just not purely on the album.
No, it's all the loopholes you're trying to find.
Yeah. Which I thought was like, I thought it was insane.
Yeah.
That they took away.
Oh my God. The craziest shit ever because of incentivizing fans.
But that's what the majors
It's like,
do.
so marketing.
So because I marketed the project, you're taking that away from me.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's just like a game, essentially.
arbitrary.
It's arbitrary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So it's amazing to hear that about the progress because, I mean, I love Pent Up in the Penthouse.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hard. Bars go crazy.
Thank you, bro.
And then there's the one line there off the top. I think it's the chorus where it's just like,
scared of success once my prefrontal cortex developed.
Yes.
Yeah, brutal, bro. I didn't have that fear of being seen when I was younger. I wanted the whole world to see me.
Yeah.
So I thought. And then I think combination of things happened, like, my prefrontal cortex developing, society, the internet, and the industry essentially like punching me in the fucking mouth with all the hate and everything.
In 2018.
You know what I mean? Like getting a like public spanking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just the natural adjustment shock to success. Those three things combine for this heightened sense of paranoia about losing success and or getting more of it and having more attention on me. Because when there's more attention on me, there's more need for perfection. When there's more attention on me, maybe people are going to bring up old interviews and say, no, he's an asshole member, you know, and I'm going to get hit again. It's like scared to get hit again.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's funny. That's kind of what this album represents. Even with the trailer, it was like, it's me unlocking myself from the cage of my own comfort zone, you know? And it's like, well, if that cage is your comfort zone, why are you in there freaking out? Because that's how fucked my comfort zone is. It's like, even my comfort zone is fucking uncomfortable sometimes because I feel like 23-year-old me placed 32-year-old me in that cage without consulting with 32-year-old me if I ever wanted to be in this life.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm glad I went after this shit when I did.
Yeah.
Because I think I would be too scared of success if I tried to blow up at 32.
Because of everything that you experienced.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's a certain youthful hubris, you know, that you just have, you know, and just a certain like, I deserve it all.
Yeah.
I want the whole world to see me. You're not even considering like any pitfalls. There are no cons.
Yeah.
You know, when you're on the outside looking in at success and wealth and fame and all your dreams, when you're making your list, your vision board, Mom Beach House, sold out arena tour, you don't even think it's possible that there's a list of negative things that are going to happen. You're just like, no. It's all going to be this.
Yes.
I don't even know. I'm not even thinking about that.
Yeah.
You know? And as you get older and you have experience and you realize that life is duality, it's robust, it's good and bad. Now I look at the next level of success and I'm not so naive in my thinking by saying just like, oh, I know that next level is just going to be all that. No.
Right.
What comes with it? You know?
Totally.
It's like it's just being more aware. It's like, before I go to this really great next level, what's the trade-off?
Yeah, because there's no solutions in life.
No. So it's like there's trade-offs with everything.
Yep.
It's like, what comes with it though? What's the bad before I just sign up for this, you know?
Because at least you're ready. Or you're not ready, but like preparing, you know.
Yeah. And so now what this album really represents too is this this sort of understanding and acceptance that I don't know what the bad is going to be. And I don't know what the good is going to be. I just know there's going to be both.
Right.
And I have to go out there, leave this cage. I got to go out there into life and press forward and play big, because it's too much internal conflict in this cage. I want to stay, I want to leave, I want to stay, I want to leave, it's too much. I got to get the fuck out of here, you know? And
because the swings are crazy in this business.
yeah,
the ups and downs are super.
bro.
So you got to, you wrote about this too, where ride the wave, right? Because it'll be highs and lows.
Yeah, bro. And it's like, you got to have more going on in your life than just this shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like, because this isn't just even about my career. This is about having a better relationship with my mom. What does that look like? You know, instead of being so too like emotionally a mesh where like, if she's in a bad mood, then I'm in it. If something's like worrying her, then I'm fucked up. And, you know, same with my girl or just anyone around me. I've always been very hyper vigilant where like, it's not possible for me to be in a good mood if someone around me that I care about's in a bad mood. That's not healthy though. You know, there needs to be just separation emotionally. We're like autonomy, emotional sovereignty is the goal, you know? So that's also what this phase of my life is about, is really just coming into my own and stepping into the unknown of all that, stepping into the unknown of like my relationship with myself, with my relationship with my girl, with my relationship with my family, and with my relationship with success. The unknown of all four of those things is terrifying. And that's why I have to go into it.
Where did you find your therapist, Connor?
Man, I found him through Dr. Nicole Lapara, like the holistic psychologist on Instagram. I asked her to be my therapist at first.
Oh, really?
yeah. And she was like, I know someone like perfect for you. Yeah, man.
Because he's not even a therapist, right? Or
no, he's not like a licensed therapist. No, he's just an incredible mentor. But he's like, you know, he's studied under really big therapists and all that, but he's just not a licensed therapist.
Yeah.
It's just kind of nice, you know? Like, you just feel like, I don't know, he doesn't therapize you to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just real conversations.
Right.
And I think young men and men in general are suffering from a lack of mentorship, you know? I think there used to be importance put on some sort of initiation phase from boyhood to man, you know? And there was a clear line of demarcation of like, you're a man now. And it involved elders, older men that you could lean on and talk to, and, you know, that would help guide you through life and all that. And I think now what a lot of dudes are dealing with is, I don't know when I became a man. What is a man?
Right.
What does that even look like? When did it happen? Was it at 22? Was it 21? Was it 18? Or was it 30? I don't even know. You just all of a sudden like kind of show up.
Yeah.
And all these things are expected of you.
Yeah.
But you have no manual, you know? And so that's why it's very important to have older male mentors. I think the one piece of like real advice I would give to any young dude, artist or not, but definitely artist, find an older dude who has his shit together, who's solid.
Yeah.
And get a mentor.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah. What does a mentor look like though? I mean, like in terms of, like, because I think a lot of people think about that as like, oh, do we check in once a week?
Check in once a week.
Okay.
Yeah, check in once a week. I do.
Yeah.
And I send fucking 78 voice memos throughout the week. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. It's it has changed my life for the better because, you know, you need mentors, man. There's just no way around it. Like, especially dudes, man. Dudes are just suffering out here from lack of community.
It's interesting because I've always thought of mentors in terms of mentoring my career, but only it was through talking to Troy Carter. that I thought about mentors in just life.
Yes.
Because I always thought about it. I'm similar like you in ways when, you know, the younger self of me would be like, I just don't want to be in the situation that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And the only way out of this is bread.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm going to do it the right way. I don't want to do it the legal way. I'm going to do it like I'm going to grind to get to this money and be successful. And yeah, like it does solve problems, but it doesn't solve everything.
No.
And so like all my mentors were like about my career and the business. And, and then I remember talking to Troy, and Troy said, no, I go to people for my career. I go to people for family. I go to people for relationship. I was like, damn, I didn't think of it that way. So I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I think I had to learn that like strong men have other men in their life that they can ask questions to and get help from.
Yeah.
There's a strength in admitting that you need help with stuff.
Totally.
And it's not this like circling the drain, like you're just like, you can't fucking, like you're just this helpless, wounded puppy, you know? Like I've still been on my shit. My resilience is like my greatest attribute, I think. But along the way, it got to a point where I was like, I need help, you know, navigating my internal landscapes, you know? And you get to a point where your parents, like, it's not their job anymore.
Right.
Simple as that. Like,
I mean, you get to a point as well too where you start to realize that your parents also have problems.
Oh, for sure. And then you have empathy.
Yeah.
You go from like anger towards your parents and possibly like resentment to empathy. Because you realize, damn, man, I look at my dad and my mom, I'm like, how the fuck did y'all even do it?
It's the same with my parents.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like,
yeah.
Now, granted, they got divorced, but it's like, how'd you even last that long?
Yeah.
With no resources, no community, no tools, no rubric, no one to like ask questions. I don't know, man. It's crazy. So yeah, it's like at the point now where I gotta father my inner child myself, you know, it's my job. And so I gotta make myself feel okay. I gotta give myself forgiveness. I need to give myself reassurance that things are gonna be okay. I gotta do all that for me, man. And yeah, it's a better experience in life for sure.
I want to take a quick break in the pod right now and talk to you guys about something I think could be of importance to you. If you're listening to this pod and thinking, I could really use some personal guidance right now, and you're serious about building your career in the music business, I'm now offering one-on-one private strategy sessions. These are fully personalized, just you and me tackling whatever you need in your music career. Listen, this is the part where you might be thinking to yourself, who the heck is this guy? Well, I got over 17 years of experience in the music business, whether it was working as a manager with artists like Jesse Ruiz, or working with major record labels like Island, Republic, Universal Music Group, or Sony, or producing content for high-profile artists like The Weeknd and Eminem, to producing content for elite brands like the NBA and Nike. I can definitely and confidently say I can help you map out your next moves. Whether you want to talk about structuring your team, navigating the industry, scaling your brand, or just simply learning how to make money in this music business, whatever's most relevant to where you're at, let's talk. You can now book for a fee a one-on-one session with me, an artist manager and a podcast host, to help you figure out your next steps. Find the link in the description below to book a one-on-one consultation session. Also, big shout out to those who watch this podcast. Bringing value to an audience who seeks it is a blessing. I can't thank you enough for tuning in. I appreciate you. Now let's get back to the pod. I love you, boy. It feels like
yeah, that was a therapy exercise, man. That was him being like, I want you to, you know, you can journal about it, you can write a poem, you can write a song, you can write a lyric, but I want you to write something to your younger self.
What an incredible record to do it on.
Yeah, so that first verse was me talking to like, you know, infant to 5-7-year-old me. And then second verse was me talking to like 21 to 26-year-old me. And then the third one was me just like patting myself on the back in general. So It's a powerful record, man.
It is.
Um,
You did exactly what you needed to do on that record. I mean, like, you hear that song, just sonically, the strings, everything about that is just like, what else is there to do on this except
yeah.
go there?
Yeah, you have to, bro. 3 verses.
3
Nobody
verses.
does 3 verses
I remember
anymore.
where I was when I heard that. I remember being on a plane,
Wow.
like, just traveling and hearing that record and just being like, oh, this song is incredible.
Yeah.
And I connected for me a lot because similar, you know,
Yeah.
a bit of a similar background when it comes to my home life as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, nah, this is real shit.
Yeah.
And
It's scary, man, to be honest. 'Cause I feel like I need a reintroduction to my audience. That's been the scariest part.
Okay.
Because you come in the game being Mr. Manifest, like, believe in yourself, stop being a bitch, get over it, it's all in your head, which is a very gaslighting title, if I might add. But it's a great book. But
yeah, it's a good book.
it's a good book. It's a
You should
good
read
book.
it. You should still read it. It's still a great book.
No, there's useful tools in there for
100%,
sure.
100%.
But I come in the game as that, and that's how the world meets me. And then I naturally grow up, and there's more depth now. And, you know, before, I wouldn't even say before I had confidence, I would say I had omnipotence.
Right.
You know, it wasn't true confidence. It was omnipotence because it was, I know everything. I know how all this is going to go. You can't tell me any different. And if I'm ever feeling not confident about something, I'll drink and I'll come off like I'm confident about it. And so that was my whole career. And then naturally that shit crashed spiritually for me, you know? And I needed to excavate and get to the root of problems. And, you know, that's where we pick up with Santiago. And it's scary for me as an artist because it's like, damn, the dude who wrote the self-help book needs help. How am I going to spin this one? You know, how's this going to land? And so I feel like I need to reintroduce myself to my audience, which is what I started to do with Santiago and what I'm continuing to do with Wild. Because I think I can actually help foster true confidence now, you know, where it's like acknowledgement of your strengths, acknowledgement of your weaknesses, acknowledgement of your insecurities, and still pressing forward anyway is real. That's real.
Yeah.
That's brave.
Yeah.
You know, not just fluffy bravery and fluffy confidence. You know, that's real.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I've been seeing that a lot. I think the one time that I saw it publicly was on Flagrant 2.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, if you ever get a chance, go watch that podcast.
Yeah.
Andrew Schultz and Akash and the boys. Amazing.
Thank
podcast.
you, man.
Great conversation.
That was a scary one too, bro. Yeah. That was, my therapist had tasked me with like, this is the year of doing hard shit.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and I'm always, I've passed on a lot of big opportunities because they just freak me out too much.
I would never have guessed that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Well, because guess what? In the past, when I was 24, they freaked me out too. Doesn't matter. Where's the tequila? I'm good. Okay. You know what I mean? I didn't allow myself to be freaked out because I would just use alcohol. I didn't meditate through it. I didn't breathe through it. I had no healthy rituals. I just knew, what's the big deal? I'll just drink and I'll be money. I'm gonna crush the interview. I'm gonna crush to this. I'm gonna crush to that. That wasn't real though. That's not real confidence. That's not real bravery. And so it's like, I had to make a decision on who I want to be.
Yeah.
What I want my life to look like. Do I want to be the artist that has to drink to get through shit? You know? Like, what's my body, face, everything, my brain gonna look like at 40 if I'm doing that? You know what I mean? So I was like, nah, bro, I'm not doing that. I have to do all these hard opportunities sober.
Yeah.
You know? And that's scary. Because it comes from a lack of trust and confidence in my sober self to be as awesome as I want him to be. Because I know drunk me is gonna kill it. You know? So you got big shoes to fill because drunk me is awesome.
He's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Smarter, wittier,
like, oh, he says the right funny shit or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So I'm like, damn, bro, you got some big shoes to fill. So it's scary, you know? But I did a lot of hard shit last year sober. I did that interview. I met Will Smith on camera and had a fucking conversation with him
I had to
for the
ask you
first
about that.
time sober, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I remember sitting there like, fuck, bro, if there was tequila here, I would drink it.
What's the conversation like with your team before you're meeting him?
I think I might even ask them, like, yo, is there tequila around? But there wasn't.
Yeah, okay.
We just met in this art gallery, like this museum, and I could just hear his voice. They didn't want us to meet prior to filming. They wanted the meet to be on camera.
Was that Lex? Was that Lex?
Yeah, Lex.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted the meetup to be on camera. And so I'm like, oh my God, dude, I hear this dude's voice. This is Will Smith. Like, what am I doing, bro? This is crazy.
Right.
And they're gonna film a conversation. Everyone be dead quiet. There's 60 people around, and y'all are just gonna watch me and Will Smith meet for the first time and have a deep conversation within seconds of meeting each other. Sober. For me, I'm like, dog, just shoot me now. Like, how is this about to go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Out of here right now.
Bro, please tell me he just has like, he's got to cancel like last minute.
Right.
And so I did it though. And I was nervous while we were talking. And
can't tell.
But it was great.
Yeah, you can't tell. You settled in.
Yeah, it was like, you know, I can watch it back and say, man, if I was drunk, I would have had way more to contribute. I would have said something funnier here or cooler here or whatever. It's like, bro, it was fine.
Yeah, it's totally. And also, like, it's fucking Will Smith. Like, I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, a few people, Lex being one of them, like, when you're around him and after, it's like, he leaves you with so much.
Yeah.
Like, you're pretty filled up after you talk to Will Smith.
Yeah.
You know, I say Will. Like, I know
we hang out on the weekends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Martin, Will, all of us. Yeah. But,
yeah, no, it's true.
So, like, you know, you're sitting there and just like, I want to soak up everything you have to say, you know?
Yeah. And so doing shit like that, bro, and coming out on the other side of it okay is like, you know, like doing hard shit and coming out okay is like the foundation of, you know, secure attachment. You know?
Let me, on that note of talking to your team and being comfortable, man, somebody that, I love that you always talk about him, Boogus.
Yeah.
How important is having your best friend right alongside with you your entire career, also your business partner in Diamond?
Yeah, man, I was just saying it yesterday. I don't think I would have made it without Boogus. Boogus was the visionary behind all this shit.
Okay.
Boogus came up with the name Diamond, you know, when we were 17. Boogus filed the LLC at fucking 18. Do it every day, music or nothing. That was Boogus's idea he came up with. He filed the LLC.
How the fuck you know how to do that at 18?
He was just, bro, Boogus is just smart as shit. Just wise beyond his years. But Boogus is the one who found TuneCore. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we should use TuneCore to get our music up.
Wow.
He's the one who was reading Napoleon Hill and Paulo Coelho and Deepak Chopra, and then he gave me those books. It's all at like 18.
Crazy.
You know? And I was just producing for him exclusively, and, you know, I would do hooks and verses here and there, but when I turned around in the studio, when I was on the mic and I was like, yo, should I rap? That right there to me, like, it's not even me being dramatic. That to me is probably like one of the most pivotal moments of my life. Because back then, you know, if you hear no from the right person, it's gonna it might derail you completely. Change the whole trajectory.
Yeah.
And back then, I'm not a rapper. I'm just like doing verses, making beats. You know, I've never even made my own song before. And Boogus was the rapper, you know? And when I turned around and asked, yo, do you think I should rap? And he just no hesitation, hell yeah. That was it. That's all I needed. It was over with from then on.
That's how you know that's a real one right there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people can't say that somebody would say the same because they're like, no way, I'm the artist.
Yeah, exactly. Especially at 18.
Yeah.
He could have been like, no, bro, like, I think you should just make beat or whatever. Like, it was in his house. The studio was in his house.
That's crazy.
You know, so it's like, I was on my shit as a result of Boogus being on his shit. The studio was in Boogus's house.
Right. I thought it was in your house.
No, the studio in high school was in my house, but after that setup that I did my whole career, I was in Boogus's house.
Oh yeah. That's
so
right.
like, it was Boogus who had the open door policy at his house where I could just show up whenever and just be like, yo, I'm outside. And he'd be like, come around the back, you know?
Yeah.
And we would get in the studio, but like I was pulling up that often because Boogie's energy to get it was contagious, you know? And I know I wouldn't have been that on my shit without Boogies, because when he moved to LA, it was like 2013, 2012. He moved to LA for like 6-7 months or something like that to like go to a music school out here. And he had the setup. So obviously he's going to take the setup with him.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm just in Atlanta, 20 years old, you know, dating a chick that isn't good for me, you know, not making music because I don't have a setup. I'm just making beats. And I wasn't trying to like, I wasn't making it a point to get a setup. I was like, I'll just like record whenever like Boogies, whenever I see him or something. I wasn't on it like that.
Oh, shit.
So
Okay.
I saw like, you know, those 6 months where I was not on my shit. I remember Boogies text me and he sent me this long ass text. He was like, because he was thinking about moving back to Atlanta. But it was a long ass text and it was like, I'll summarize, but it was basically like, I'm not about to come back to Atlanta if you're about to just be bullshitting. Like, if I'm gonna come back, you need to be on your shit. And that was a wake-up call, you know?
Crazy.
Yeah.
There's always that one person.
That's what I'm saying though, but it's like, I can look back at that time and be like, wow, bro, I was not on my shit. And I don't think I would have been on it without Boogies. Boogies was the driving force behind all this shit. I wouldn't have made it without Boogies, bro. That's the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reality. Like, I don't believe in that whole, like, oh, I would have made it somehow. What? Nah, I don't think so.
That's crazy. Have you ever told that story that you had that moment where you weren't doing anything?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah.
No.
Talk to me about Milan, my Canadian brother.
Oh, man. Milan and me connected in 2015.
Yeah.
And just sent an email, man. I remember where I was. I was at Lifetime Fitness playing basketball with my dad and my brother, and I was like, wow, bro, holy shit, things are happening. You know? Like, we got a fucking email from this, like, legit manager, you know? And he flew me out to Toronto to meet him, and he was working with Waka at the time.
In Toronto?
Yeah, like, he was with Brick Squad and all that.
Milan?
Yeah.
Did not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I met all them.
What year is this?
2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
2015. So meet them. Milan gets me a studio. I think, is it Orange Studios in Toronto?
Yeah.
Is that a studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's there anymore.
It's like right there on.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. And we go there and the piano is like out of tune, but it's awesome. And I sit down and I Want to Go Down With You, which ended up being on the debut. And we built a relationship after that, you know? There was hiccups and whatever. There was 3 months where like we didn't talk. I forget even what the fucking issue was, but I remember just telling him like, don't call me till you get me Kara Lewis.
Oh, so
as a booking agent.
So you guys connect, because
Yeah.
I always heard the story.
Yeah.
But you guys connect.
And
you guys are working together.
Yeah, and then had a bit of a falling out.
No shit.
Yeah, but the falling out was really like one of his business partners like promising me like a show or something. And back then, bro, I had never done a show really in that capacity. And so I was so amped. I'm telling my whole family, we're all gassed about it. It's LA, and it falls through.
Yeah.
And that shit was like so embarrassing and just
setting is crushing.
It's crushing, bro. So I was like, fuck all y'all. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And so we didn't talk for like 3 months. And I had told him like, don't reach out unless you have Kara Lewis. You know, this is how much I studied this shit. Like, we knew the booking agents.
Yeah.
We knew Kara Lewis and Peter, what's his
Schwartz?
Peter Schwartz, right? The
Yeah,
old like, is it Peter Schwartz? You know,
I'll get back to. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so because it was Kara and him were like the ones.
Right.
I think that's his name.
I think yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, yeah, don't call me until you have Kara Lewis. And so
Which is crazy.
yeah, it's like such an absurd demand.
Just for the people who don't know Kara Lewis at the time. I mean, still Eminem, I believe. You know.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah,
Eminem.
Kanye.
Yeah, Eminem, Ye, Travis, like she's the GOAT.
She's the GOAT.
Yeah. So and for those who don't know, a booking agent is somebody who books the tours.
Yeah.
Routes the tours. So, because I wanted to be on the road so bad. And I was like, man, if I want to be on the road, I want Kara Lewis. I know she'll get me on the road. And so 3 months goes by or 4 months or whatever. And, you know, independent labels have been reaching out Cinematic Records had reached out, Johnny Shipes.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And this is, I'll never forget the date, September 1st, 2015.
Okay.
I fly to New York. I go meet with Shipes and Cinematic. And on the way to New York, I have a layover in Charlotte. This is like so crazy how this happened. I have a layover in Charlotte. Milan calls me. I haven't talked to him in months. He calls me. He's like, yo, I got you a meeting with Kara. He said, the only thing is it's at 4:30 today in New York. I'm like, I'm actually in Charlotte, about to land in New York.
Land in New York.
Like, what are the odds though? You know what I'm saying? And why would you set up a meeting with Kara in New York when you know I'm in fucking Atlanta? Like, what was I supposed to do?
Right.
But I was flying to New York. And so I land in New York, and with my bags in my hand,
that's crazy.
I go to Kara's office, and this is when she was at CAA.
Yeah.
And meet Kara, and I was like Kara to me then, and still, like, I still get nervous around Kara Lewis. Because Kara Lewis to me is a superstar.
Yeah.
Like, that's how deep I studied this shit. Like, Kara Lewis, I get more starstruck around Kara than fucking whoever.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm in the office with Kara Lewis, and I'm showing her like my SoundCloud analytics. I'm like, these are the top 10 cities on my SoundCloud. These are where I should tour. And
that day?
That day.
Crazy.
That day I'm showing her those analytics.
Okay.
But I think I had just hit 10,000 followers on SoundCloud. Okay. That was like where I was at. So there wasn't a lot of like shit happening. You know, September 1st, 2015, I had just dropped What They Want to Pull the Trigger, because Losing Control came out November of that year, and Do It Myself came out December. But I'll never forget the date, because the thing back then that was so cool was being able to put for booking in your bio, and it was Kara Lewis's name.
Yeah.
And so I left that office September 1st, 2015, being able to put for booking Kara, and it just made me feel so fucking like official, bro. Like,
hell yeah.
Those small wins are enough to like keep your dream alive for, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so shortly after that, I think in October, there used to be this, what was it called? CMJ Showcase, some shit like that in New York. It was like New York's like South by Southwest thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And she got me on a show that was during the week of that showcase where I opened for Jay Electronica, and which was awesome.
Yeah.
Like Jay Electronica is one of the greatest rappers ever, but like you can imagine how off that was, like audience wise, for me to go up there like, and do like fucking Willy Wonka and fucking like melodic. Just like, I remember the crowd looking at me like, and this is New York too.
And this is
New York.
New
They're
York.
there for Jay Electronica.
Yeah. And then
I roll out. It's like, get this dude the fuck off stage. I wanted to get off stage so bad.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting Elliott Wilson in the crowd back then.
And you know who he is?
I knew who he is, because once again, because I studied the shit. He didn't know who I was, but I was like, bro, I'm about to be huge. I'm telling you. He was like, all right, cool. And that was that. Now, you know, Elliott's my guy. But so that was like October 2015. And then I think it was shortly after that, I did my first show ever in New York at SOBs. Or maybe that was 2016. I think it was 2015. I have my wallet on. Oh, they have my wallet. I still carry around the check.
That's it.
Rob, you got my wallet? Yeah. Let me see. It's crazy. I still move around with the first check I got from the show ever.
Crazy.
I move around with that and the ticket I got to Sunday service, because it was the first time I met Kanye.
Oh shit.
Oh, you threw it. That was really ambitious to think I would catch it.
He's a hooper. That's what I was thinking too, man.
Yeah.
He's got the hands.
Let me see if this was it, because I'll tell you the date. Yeah, October 15, 2015.
Put it up to the camera here.
Real life check, man.
Wow, 200. You never.
$250. I was rich. Couldn't tell me shit. What?
How did that feel to get that?
I'll be honest, man. That $250 hit way more than getting 600 grand for a show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's
It meant way more.
How come?
Because it was proof of life on this faraway planet I was trying to get to. By the time I was getting 600 grand for a show, I had gotten 400.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it meant more.
You know what's crazy? It's the same thing. I remember the first time Jesse got a check.
Yeah.
It's $450 for a sync placement.
Real money.
Real money.
Real
for
money.
a sync is just like proof of life.
Proof of life.
And like her even like giving me the check of like my commissions.
Oh man.
And that was like a moment.
Making money off of music. Bro.
Yeah, it was just like,
it's incredible.
This is what we're doing. Like, this is actually happening, you know?
Yeah.
I remember one time we were in a car, we were in an Uber somewhere driving in Toronto. You know Manifesto? Toronto used to do this festival called Manifesto. They might still do it. I'm not sure. But she did a 2-song set.
Yeah.
I had a relationship with the people. And she was kind of like garnering a bit of a name.
Yeah.
It's like $250.
Yeah.
And then, but it was like, again, proof of life.
Yeah.
And then like 18 months later,
yeah,
they called me and were like, we got $15,000 for her to.
Cool shit.
And I remember telling her in the car, and I turned around at her and I said, Jesse, Manifesto just offered you 15 grand. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
And this is like the first,
crazy.
yeah. And I remember this, I said, but we're going to say no.
Whoa. Why?
Because it wasn't a hard ticket.
Ah.
It's a festival ticket.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I said, and I thought to myself, this is our home city.
Yeah.
Let's start slow. You're starting to gain a name.
Yeah.
Let's go to Mod Club. It's still there though. But that's like that's where Weeknd did his first show. Like it's iconic for many reasons. And so, you know, we did that show with Jessie, iconic as well. She brought Alessia Cara out.
Oh, wow.
She had King Louis come out. Like
King Louis, holy shit.
That's our guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were doing a lot more damage in Chicago than we were in Toronto.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because she had a song that we put out on SoundCloud that she was featured on the King Louis record called Living in the Sky.
Wow.
That she produced, that she did the hook, and you know, and so her name started to get around because Andrew at Fake Short Drive posted it.
Yeah.
Chance tweeted that that's the favorite song of King Louis that he's heard in a while.
Wow.
So it was starting to buzz.
King Louis was hard, man.
Super hard.
Yeah.
Good dude too.
Wow.
Him, Doe, Obama, like his people, good people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just
that first check, bro, is real. There's nothing like it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I still move around with it for that reason, you know, and that was SOBs, and it was like, SOBs might as well have been the Garden back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that was October 2015, and then South by Southwest 2016, Milan got me this Airbnb. And this is like, I don't even think Uber was out yet. This is how crazy. Like, I remember taking like taxis or something. Just like having to walk. But South by Southwest 2016 was like
getting
crazy.
A fucking taxi in South by Southwest was insanity.
But this was the like prime South by Southwest. Like, it's when like Drake and Future were there. You know what I mean?
They were doing the Fader for it.
Yeah, they did Fader for it. I remember, I think either Drake was performing or Future was, and they brought out each other or something. They did Jumpman.
Yeah.
You know, this when like everybody was going. Everybody was doing South by Southwest back then was even, holy shit, it's leveling up again. You know, like, and Kara was trying to get me on shows. I was desperately just like, I want to go on the road, but like nobody would have me. You know, we were trying to open, she would submit me to open on people's tours, and they were just saying, no. You know, finally, I was able to open for Kat Dahlia for like 3 shows.
Crazy.
Yeah. She's awesome. And so I did that. I opened for Bryson Tiller at like 2 colleges. Yeah. I opened for Bryson Tiller at like Penn State.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember thinking I was the man. It's like, I'm on stage, like sound checking, like, look at the fucking arena I'm in. It's like, it's not yours, you fucking loser.
No, but still, it's still a moment, man.
I know, but it's like, anything to make myself feel good enough, bro. So I did that. And it was just Milan driving. We rented a car, you know, and we had put out the Losing Control video and the What They Want video. Shout out to Edgar Estevez, who like DM'd
Shout out
me.
Edgar.
Angel fell out of the sky. I was like, I'm down to shoot everything.
For free.
Yeah. Once those videos came out, that shit took off.
Yeah.
Like, it was the video, that was back in the golden era of music videos.
Yep.
Where like the music videos blew up.
Yep.
You know?
Not budget-wise. It was budgets for terrible.
Yeah, but they blew up.
Yeah.
And then it was a wrap after that, bro. That was like February, March 2016. And then Kara got me my international booking agent, Steve Strange, rest in peace.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then Becky, who was over there too. Both of them were doing my booking.
International.
And so my first tour was an international tour. It was like, I'll never forget, I had 34,000 followers on Instagram. And my first tour was the Manifest tour, and it was like April of 2016, and it was 8 shows, something like that, 7 shows, 100 cap, 150 cap. Milan rented a car. We drove all around.
In North America?
No, Europe.
In Europe.
International.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Manchester, London. It was crazy though, bro. It was like my first time really. That was my first tour.
But you did Berlin at that point. Was that when you had 1,100 people or 350?
No, Belgium, I had 1,100. Yeah, so this is when it was like crazy because like the labels were flying out.
Yeah.
To watch the show. Like they were at the Belgium show.
They want to know what's up.
They're trying to, they were at South by Southwest too, and they're trying to all like, figure out what's going on. It was fun.
Yeah.
And then I came off of that, and finally it's like, okay, I'm ready to go on my own tour in America, And it just worked out where I guess I never had to like open on someone's full tour. Like I did those 3 shows with Kat Dahlia, I did 2 shows with Bryson. But luckily the videos came out and it blew it up, and then the catalog starts to blow up. And I remember watching my TuneCore checks go from, $800 September of 2015 to like $1,000 in October, $2,500 in December, and then January it's 8, February 2016 it's 16, March it's 40, April it's 75.
And you're not signed?
No, in May it's June. So I'm making $100,000 a month, not signed. Kylie Jenner is posting, pull the trigger and losing control. My shit's charting on iTunes.
Yeah.
Like I'm going on tours. My shit was lit. That's why I had like back then. That's crazy leverage.
Oh my God. I mean, today is still crazy leverage.
It still is today for sure. But so I come back. I send Kara the analytics of like SoundCloud because Spotify and Apple wasn't even fucking out. Apple came out 2015.
Yeah.
Spotify, no one even fucking knew what was going on with that. That was back when Tumu was like running, Rap Caviar and all that.
Yeah.
So I sent her the analytics from SoundCloud and did a like 6-city tour in America, like Billings, Montana, Denver, played like the Bluebird Theater, and LA, like the flyest thing was to like Kara was telling me, is like you turn the house. So you do like 2 shows in the same night. So we did Echoplex, 350 cap. And I remember like Gibson Hazard, like was the photographer.
Oh shit.
For my first LA show.
You just called you and said, I'm going to take photos?
I think he was a fan and like I needed a photographer. And so I was like, yeah, bro, your shit's fire. Yeah. And now Gibson is fucking, so it's just cool seeing people like who stick with their shit, elevate, whatever, side note. But
for sure.
Yeah, man, once that shit happened, it was over with. Like, because for me, that was when the discovery was like really, really happening. And so I was able to, I would come off that tour and then a month later, I went back out on like the Young God tour, and that was 10 cities, 12 cities. And then a month later, I did the Do It Myself tour. Like, I'm doing markets 6 times in a year type of shit. You know what I mean?
And why are you doing that many in that?
Because to me, it was just like, I kept having so many songs come out. So I kept being able to like, I could do a whole new set next tour. Right. You just saw me 2 months ago. But that's 10 new songs I could do.
That's the importance of the catalog.
And it was growing so fast that like, LA was Echoplex, and then I did El Rey the second time. By December of 2016, I did the Novo, which is 2,500.
Yes.
So it's like, it was growing fast.
And how important is that you didn't skip any steps?
So important because I had to do my own artist development.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine, there's a lot of these artists, they get huge and they've never done a show.
Yeah,
like
Little Nas X, I remember.
Yes, that's the one that comes to mind too. I'm like, damn, bro. I like what Olivia Rodrigo did.
Yeah, she was going to smaller rooms.
She did smaller rooms. Her fans were pissed, but that was the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
What should this girl do who's never done shows like that? She should come out the gate and do fucking arenas. Do you want her to collapse on stage?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's nerve-wracking,
you're just setting the person up for failure if you do that.
Bro. Like, I remember when 1,100 people might as well have been 20,000.
Sure.
1,100 felt like scary as fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't skip the steps. And I think it gives fans a point of connection because they're like, I remember when you were doing 300 people in Houston and now you're, you know, it's cool when fans can be invited to come along on the journey from the ground level, they're gonna fuck with you way harder.
Speaking of the fans, how important is it to build with a fan and directly connect with them? How important is it to recognize the Nick Everetts of the world?
Man, super important, especially when there's 4 of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
are you talking to them on a regular basis?
Yeah, like not as much anymore.
Sure.
But like, yeah, oh my God, man. I just talked to Nick the other day because I was getting tickets to the Atlanta show.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, those were the first fucking fans, man. Like, like first 10 fans type shit. You know what I mean? I go on my Discord. I created my Discord and I jump on there and talk to fans all the time. I'm doing an event tomorrow night where I'm having one of my biggest fans from Discord who she's just always asked awesome questions when I do stage. She's going to interview me. It's a live interview with the fan.
At the Grammy Museum?
No, afterwards.
Oh, afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
That's hard.
I just think like, you gotta do, like, I love doing shit like that.
Oh, but see, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Look at the level that you're at, doing arenas.
Yeah.
Billions of streams.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
Dollars.
Yeah.
Still directly connecting with the fans.
Yeah. They're the ones who get it.
They're the ones who get it.
They're the ones who get it.
Yeah.
I like talking to them. They get it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes I feel like I talk to people who don't get it. And that's a frustrating conversation.
Yeah, but why waste your time?
Right. So it's like somebody like her, she's smart, she asks insightful questions, and she has context of the catalog, and she gets it. And why not? Like, to me, one of my favorite things to do in terms of like engaging with my fans is to go on my Discord and just hop on stage and ramble and read the questions that they're asking and bring one of them up on the stage and they ask me a question. And I love that shit. It's fun as hell. They ask cool questions. Like, I don't know, they ask questions that it's hard for just anybody else to ask unless you've been following it hella close, you know? So I think it's really important to engage with your fans. I think, yeah, you can play the whole mysterious card. But people also like get that fucked up. It's like, you can only be mysterious after you've done the super engaging work.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, people.
You can't come out the gate mysterious. Who do you think you are?
Everybody thinks that Adele was just this, like, like she would come drop an album and go away. No, man. Adele went and did a ton of promo, a ton of press for her first album. Frank Ocean was like, all over the place with Odd Future.
Yeah.
You know, just like the only person that I think who's done it. Well, not the only person, but I think like The Weeknd did it incredibly well.
I remember when The Weeknd came out and everyone like didn't know what he looked like. I still
for
remember
like a year.
Yeah, like when
he
just had
dropped
the
3 albums. But that's the thing. This is where I look at it and I say, yeah, you can do the whole mysterious shit, but if you think the mysterious shit is like one song, one album, then go and disappear for 6 months, bro, you're tripping. Like,
it's also like people have to accept the fact that we're not in a certain era anymore.
Right.
Those dudes all like premiered like pre-streaming era. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not in that time anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that was back when there was so many less artists being pushed in your face. There wasn't TikTok, the algorithms weren't what they were. Instagram came out 2010.
And it was only photos.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the industry was able to quality control what was going out, and it was, you could do the mysterious thing because the mysterious shit had a lot of money behind it. You know what I mean? Like, that, it was a curated mystery.
That's very true. Yeah.
It wasn't just like a dude on Instagram in his bedroom who posts an album link and then dips.
Right.
That's not what they were doing.
Not at all. And if you think that's what they were doing,
you're clueless.
Yeah, you're out to lunch, exactly.
Even like, you know, people will try to like reference like Playboy Cardi. It's like, Cardi was hella active.
That's what I was thinking of, but
yeah, hella active, bro.
Yeah.
I remember when he was like with Awful Records in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I loved what Awful Records was doing. It's like this collective that this guy, Father, started. It was like Father, Playboy Cardi was in it. This incredible artist, Abra, who is just, I named a song after her because of the vibe of her music. She was just fucking incredible. Slug Cry is this other one. Just like this group of like cool, creative artists and rappers. They had a big song, Wrist, Russ.
Yeah.
That was like Father,
Yeah.
Key. But yeah, Cardi was with them, you know, and they were like very active.
There you go.
And then he went to New York and ASAP and this and that, you know, but it's like, you don't just start out mysterious.
No, not at all.
No.
Unless you got like a lot of...
Unless there's a lot of money behind you.
Yeah. You're getting this buzz. It's going crazy for
Yeah.
you. You're now talking to all the labels.
Yeah.
What are the conversations you and Milan are having with the labels? What is this looking like at the time?
Yeah. It was funny, bro. I was a maniac. I knew what I was sitting on.
Yeah.
I knew what I was sitting on. Like I had There's Really a Wolf, and I knew what it was. And keep in mind, right? So I'm doing all these label meetings like May, June of 2016, because like June is when I partnered with Columbia.
Yes.
So I'm making $100,000 a month. Kylie Jenner has posted my shit. I'm charting on iTunes. I sold out my tours. Like I have more tours booked. I have songs coming out as we speak, you know, like, and I'm sitting on a debut that I know is dumb, and Losing Control of What They Want are going crazy.
Moving.
So
bidding war?
Yeah. So I'm like, you know, I meet with everyone and I'm playing them the album, and every song I'm like, it's a fucking Grammy, this a fucking plaque, this a plaque, this a just crazy. And the mindset back then was I needed to level the playing field. The landscape was not what it is now. It was not as easy to just like, not that it wasn't as easy, it wasn't as obvious that you didn't need radio to be a big artist.
Right.
You know, because like I said, the context matters, right? Social context matters. Apple Music came out 2015.
Yes.
So this is 2016. It's not a thing. Spotify was not a thing like that. The streams were happening there, but like we weren't even looking.
No,
in
we
that
weren't
direction.
looking at that.
We're still looking at iTunes.
I remember looking at Spotify for the first time, and then around that time, 2014, 2015, I was like, these streams look like manipulated.
Yeah,
so
just some weird shit.
Transparently,
Yeah.
Byron, who I co-managed Jesse with for all that time, he's the one that convinced me, like, yo, we need to put the figures, her first song that we put out. That's the one that went crazy.
Great song.
And did the whole bidding war thing. He's like, yo, we got to put this on Spotify. Because in my head, I was like, no, SoundCloud. Let's go SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But he's like, and my thinking was, forget about trying to get people to pay to listen to just put it everywhere. But he's like, no, but there's like a free tier. Yeah. And there's somebody at Spotify in Canada that I know, Nate. Yeah. Let's talk to him. And then it was like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to understand it. But you're right, that's the context.
I was like, bro, up until, I mean, even like 2017, 28, I was posting the SoundCloud link.
Right.
When I dropped music. Like the song was everywhere, but I did not promote anything but SoundCloud.
Crazy.
So I just wanted you to hear the song.
Yeah.
I didn't even understand like what playlists were, none of that.
Yeah.
So so we're talking to all the labels, and I have this crazy leverage. I'm sitting on an insane album, and it's a moving train. So they know with or without them, like I'm making $100,000 a month. What do you think it's going to be next month?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it doesn't really matter what y'all are talking about. I'm moving. So me and Milan just wanted to go somewhere. Like I said, we had to level the playing field because it wasn't obvious that you didn't need radio to be a bigger star. You know, we're looking at every artist, Drake, everyone that we look up to, and we're like, they have radio, and everyone on radio signed. So I guess we got a partner. That was the complete thought process.
Mm-hmm.
It was not about anything else but radio. So we went with Columbia because Columbia at that time was a really tastefully curated label. It was Bob Dylan, it was Adele, it was Beyonce, it was Pharrell, and it was Tyler. Like, that was kind of it. There wasn't a lot of competition as far as, well, if I go to Atlantic, who has 78 rappers, I'm not confident y'all are going to give my shit attention like that. Y'all got too much going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I went with Columbia for that reason, and it paid off. And shout out to Imran. Shout out to Wes, too. Imran gets the credit for signing me. Wes found my music and passed it to Imran.
Okay.
But shout out to Imran, because Imran was, he was the A&R. He was my A&R.
Yeah.
And
for context, Imran is now president of Island.
Yes.
With
like
Justin.
Chapel Roan and Sabrina Carpenter and all that. But shout out to Imran because, man, when I partnered with them and I posted it on my Instagram and let all my fans know the day I signed the shit, I posted the video so that it was transparent. Like, okay,
Yeah,
we
you're
leveled
signed.
up. We're doing this now. I'm
Yeah.
partnered with a major label.
No, you're partnered. Sorry, not signed. Yeah, partnered.
But I kept my entire TuneCore catalog.
How did you do that, bro?
They didn't have a choice. That was a non-negotiable.
You told them out the gate.
Yeah, told them out the gate. You can't touch this. I'm keeping my entire TuneCore catalog.
Yeah.
Or I'm not doing the deal.
Right.
And
were there other labels when you said that they're like, okay, we're not interested?
No, they were all with that because they knew the amount of output I was willing to give, and like they knew that I wanted to put Losing Control, What They Want, Pull the Trigger, and Do It Myself on the album. I was down to do it.
So as a part of the
so they knew like what was about to happen.
Yeah,
you know? So I kept that entire back catalog, and this is where I give big credit to Imran, and the other people at the label were pushing back on this, but he would just always get them over the hump. But I was like, bro, I got to keep dropping though, consistently. Like after signing, I was like, I got to keep dropping. Like we'll do the debut album after this shit gets like dumb big, but I got to keep dropping between now and then. So this is like June, July 2016. And the conversation was really like, me dropping songs consistently still is going to make me, the artist, Russ, bigger, which is going to make the debut album that we split the profits on bigger. So it doesn't matter. The other just point of just like common sense shit was like, look, guys, you don't want me to put these songs out on TuneCore because now I'm in a deal with y'all, but you also don't want to spend money on the songs. And so if you don't want to spend money on the songs, then you don't get to have the songs. If you want to split the profits on these songs that I'm just trying to put out in the interim between, you know, signing and putting out the debut, then you got to spend money on it. And if you don't, what do you care? I'm not asking you to give me $100,000 for Psycho Part 2 and then you don't get to participate in the profits. I'm just saying you're not trying to spend money on it anyway.
Right.
So let me rock.
Okay, so let me understand this. So you're putting these records out on TuneCore while you're partnered up with Columbia.
Yeah.
Columbia's not sharing in the revenue of the records that you're putting on in TuneCore?
No.
Did you have that in the paperwork prior to, or did you just convince them while you were?
It was just, it was like a convinced thing. That's what, like, Imran was just the man.
What kind of, and how do you know he's getting pushback? He's telling you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was Rob Stringer at the time, right?
I love Rob Stringer, man. Yeah, that was Rob Stringer.
Yeah.
They were just, I think as a company in general, they were all cool with it. They believed in me. You know, it was a rare deal. You know, like I'm putting out Psycho Part 2 on TuneCore after signing and it gets 1 billion streams.
Yeah.
And that's on my TuneCore.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's fucked. Even like, you know, there was a bunch of songs in the interim that I was able to just put on TuneCore.
Market share, which is all the shit that they...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a crazy situation. So then the debut came out as a rap.
Yeah.
But even after that, in between, I was still like push it out on my TuneCore, or sometimes I'd be like, all right, yeah, we can do this one together. But they were just real flexible with that.
Yeah.
There was only one time I was in Germany. I just done a festival and I just wanted to rap and bar up. And I dropped this song called The Game in the middle of the night on my TuneCore. And like no one at the label knew. And I like show up to the label like the next week and like Rob Stringer is there and Ayala, who I love.
Ayala. She's the one that connected us. So.
Yeah, Ayala, Imran.
Shout out Ayala.
And Rob is like, you can't just drop songs. Like, we're a multi-billion-dollar label. You can't just...
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, my bad. I'll give you a heads up next time, but I'm still going to drop it on
I'll give you 24 hours notice.
Yeah.
Milan's going to call 24 hours ahead of time, send you an email.
Exactly. That it's going on TuneCore.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was a good situation. I don't have a horror story with the labels. It just got to a point... It got to a point where the juice wasn't worth the squeeze because the reason why I signed, I quickly learned that, oh, you guys can get told no too.
Explain that some more.
So I signed thinking that, well, once you sign, your song goes on radio. Mm-hmm. Once you sign, your song will go in these playlists. And then I learned that it's people behind all these companies. And so it's a guy at Columbia who's calling a guy at Spotify to say, yo, I got this new Russ song. I think it'd be great for today's top hits. And then it's Spotify being like, I don't think so. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, wait.
That's crazy, yeah.
And so I'm like, wait, you guys are getting told no.
Yeah.
I'll just get told no. without having to cut you in. Like,
Right.
I'll just get told no. So
What am I sharing the profits in?
if you can get told no, makes no sense.
Exactly.
I'll keep 100% and also get told no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
At what point are you discovering that and you're like, all right.
2019, but it was also like changing CEOs and it just wasn't a good alignment, good fit.
Okay.
I wanted to dip,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, I wanted to just get out of there. And so I just bought myself out the deal, paid him 1.5, dip.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What's that conversation like with your lawyers, with Milan?
It was rare even for them to let me walk because I still had an album
Right.
left. And I was coming off of having my first #1 at radio, funny enough, via the
shit.
label. Best on Earth went #1.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, yeah, I want to dip though. They're like, what?
Well, we did the thing that you
yeah,
said
we
you want.
did what you want.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, it's too late. Because at that point, it just wasn't a good relationship, you know,
Yeah.
with some people there. So I was just out, you know.
Yeah. So you would say then if somebody's going to go and do a label situation today, which
Yeah.
they're not signing artists like they used to anymore because they're like,
Yeah.
you know, hundreds of people got laid off in the major labels.
Sure.
And those frontline artists they're not signing them anymore because they're focusing on catalogs
Yeah.
like yours
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
right? Legacy, I guess, is what it's
Yeah.
called. But if you were going to go to a label, would you at least say like, hey, if you're going to go to a label, have leverage?
Yeah. Mandatory, you have leverage.
Yeah. Profit splits?
Have leverage. Profit split is mandatory. Something non-exploitative, you know. What I mean by that is make it a 3-album deal.
Right.
And make sure they have release commitments.
Yes.
The release commitment
Yes,
shit
that's
saved me
everything.
too. Because I don't give a fuck how y'all feel about me at the label. You got to put my shit out because it's in
Yes.
the contract.
Yes.
And in fact, you got another month.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
The release commitment is real and the reversions, you know?
Yep.
So like for me,
What's a reversion for those who
meaning
don't?
you guys can participate in the profits, but after 10 years, no, you can't.
Right.
And it all goes back to me.
Correct.
So like right now, those 3 albums that I did with Columbia, we still split 50-50 on, which like I'm okay with. Y'all fucking put up millions and millions of dollars in my pocket in advances, you know, I get it. And I think it's wild that I can even like get 100% of this shit back in, you know, what's it, 2025, in 2030. Losing Control is going back on my TuneCore.
Oh, that's right, because you left at 2020. So
Yeah,
it's 10-year reversion.
which is
from the 11.
crazy.
Yeah. Time flies.
Like Losing Control back on my TuneCore is nuts because it still goes like platinum every year.
Every year. That's going to be diamond in a couple of years.
I think it'll be diamond, yeah, like end of next year.
Wow. Yeah, it's incredible. So that goes back on your TuneCore.
TuneCore.
I saw, on that note, you did an interview with Steve Stoute. Steve Stoute's the founder of United Masters.
Yeah.
Obviously, just a legend in the game.
Yeah.
He was in the agency world for a little bit. Wrote that
Yeah.
book, Tanning of America. If you've never read that book, read that book. It's a good
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
But in that interview, you said, I'm on Operation Tell All the Game.
Yeah.
I'm going to show everybody that I'm going to make $1 million in a month, and I got to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
You at that point?
I've made $1 million a month, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that look like? How did you, I guess it's a combination of everything we've talked about, but.
It's a combination of catalog.
Yeah.
It's a combination of catalog and putting out a song at the beginning of the month that does damage. And you know what I mean? To get to the like million in a month.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But at a certain point, my catalog is going to get so big where it's just going to cruise at $1 million a month.
It leads me to another thing.
And by the way, I'm only talking about master side.
Exactly.
Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm talking about $1 million in a month off the master. This is the other thing. I just mentioned this in another interview, but this obsession with publishing is one of the biggest like swindles and distractions the music business has going on.
Tell me what.
There's more money in the master.
Way more.
There's way more money in the master. In the industry, based off of fuck narratives, has convinced everyone to only care about the publishing. It's like, what? There's so much more money on the master.
Yes.
Like, dog, I don't know. It's crazy to me.
I say that. Byron and I were talking about that on the pod too. It's like, it's the biggest finesse that the majors probably ever did. Said, you don't make money on the masters, you make it on touring.
Oh my God, that's such a lie. Oh,
No,
that shit is
streaming,
insane.
you make money in
You
streaming.
make so much. There is so much money in music if you own the master.
Correct.
So much money. Publishing, you really only see like crazy money off of publishing if some shit crushed at radio.
Yeah.
And pop radio specifically.
Exactly.
Or like a sync thing or whatever. But it's like, master, if you own the master, oh my God, bro. I'm caking off masters.
Yeah.
That like never even left my fan base.
Right.
They're just big songs in this little ecosystem. And I mean, it's nuts, dog. It's nuts how much money you can make off of masters. I always tell people, if you don't think there's money in music, realize that labels don't tour and they make billions of dollars.
That's a fact.
Realize that labels, record labels, realize that Columbia does not participate in publishing or touring, and they make billions of dollars.
Yep.
Because there's money in music.
Yes.
You're just not getting access to the money.
Now, more specifically, there's money in rights of the master.
So much.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the biggest lie that gets told, bro. It's like,
why do you think that happens? You think it's just
it's
to make
easy.
Exactly.
Because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's something that like you can just accept because you've heard it so many times. Like, it's like how people used to tell me, I just want you to worry about the music. I don't want you to have to worry about anything else. You just focus on the music. I'd always be like, fuck you. Like, what? Don't tell me what to focus on?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Yeah, oh, so I don't look that way in what you're doing? Yeah, right.
Right.
I got fucking eyes going every which way.
Yeah, real shit.
You know? And so for me, it's like, yeah, of course they're going to tell artists like, there's no money in the master, just so that you don't ask questions.
Exactly.
You know?
And if there wasn't any money, then why would there be these massive financial institutions that are looking at streaming money to purchase catalog?
Right. Why are they spending $200 million to acquire your catalog if there's no money in music?
Bruce Springsteen,
or do you think,
half a beat.
Or do you think they're idiots and you're smart?
Exactly.
There's a ton of money in music. There's a ton of money on the master side of music.
Yes.
The master side makes more than publishing.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
And guess what? Touring, yeah, you can maybe make more off of your master side, but you have to exert way more energy. The sweat equity of like you have to touring.
Yeah. Plus you can lose money on your first few tours.
You
will.
You will lose money. Two, it's dangerous. The fuck? You got to get on a bus, plane, fly all these different cities. You don't know who's in the crowd at the meet and greet at this. Dog, fuck that. You got to leave your house. I don't need to leave my house and I'm making $1 million a month. Like, you got to really, like, for me to leave my house.
It's got to be a...
Oh, bro.
Yeah. It's got to be
I tour for the love of it, bro.
Right.
I make more money sitting at home.
But you don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like that whole fucking narrative of like, that shit just irks me when I see people say shit like that. Because I'm like, it's not true. It's not true.
It's not.
There is a shit ton of money on the master. There's more money in it than the pub. And you can make more money on the master than touring. And there's such low overhead for the master side of things.
You know what's another finesse, I feel like? Another level of that?
Yeah.
And I don't know why, I don't know where this came from, but I think when people they don't look at that side of things because of this term called pocket watching. I don't call it pocket watching. I call it financial literacy.
Yeah.
There's pocket watching if you're saying, oh, why did that guy go and make $10 million or $100 million? Like, I deserve that. Okay, look, you're looking at it from a negative perspective, but really what you should be doing is being like, hold on.
How did he do that?
How did he do that?
Yeah, right.
What do you mean? Yeah. Okay, cool. Like, that's dope. Like, how does that work? And then you start to ask the questions, right? Yeah. So it's like, that's where the financial literacy comes from. So when I hear somebody like catalog made $100 million,
yeah,
how does that work? What's a multiple? What's a multiple? What does that mean? Oh, there's valuations and all this stuff. Okay, cool. That's how this works?
Yeah.
People got it confused, man, when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, bro. Oh, man. I just can't stand that narrative. It's like, it's 2025, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all can't keep thinking that there's no money in music. Like, there's so much out here, bro.
Well, you know, with your multiple and your catalog and valuations and all that, would you ever sell your catalog? Because for sure it's in this 9-figure
Yeah,
place.
I wouldn't.
How come?
I don't need the money. That's like the truth of it. One, I don't need the money. Two, I don't know if I'd be able to like really sleep with myself.
Really?
No.
Okay.
And three, which kind of ties into 1 and 2, I've been fortunate enough to touch a shit ton of money where I can wrap my head around 100 million. And what I mean by that is like, I can look at my life zoomed out, not from this emotional, oh my God, $100 million place, and be like, okay, what would you buy? And then I look at my
Right.
life and I'm like, I've bought everything.
Mm.
So now what do you need the 100 for?
Mm-hmm.
To look at?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, I get it. Some of that is peace of mind, whatever, you know, cushion for a rainy day, but it's like, you're going to sell, to me, that's selling your soul, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
If you look at the literal definition, it's like music is the sound of the soul. And you're saying that there's a price tag on it. For me, there's not. And that's not me trying to be fake, noble, or anything. For me, there's not a number.
Yeah, it's just for you
Now,
personally.
maybe if it was 10 billion, no, I'm kidding. But it's like, there is a number. No, but truly, it's like,
No, but if it, like,
I've thought about it, and there's nothing I need to buy. I think I'm coming from a privileged
folks approach you on it?
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, there's nothing I need to buy. I'm like, what would I buy? I got my house. My business manager calls them like the big purchases. I've done the big purchases. I got me a house, my mom 2 houses. Everyone's got crazy cars. Like, I have crazy cars. I can travel on the best plane in the best seat and stay at the best hotel in the world in the most expensive room. Like, I can stay in the room that Beyonce stays in. You know what I mean? It's like, what do I need?
Yeah.
What do I need to sell my catalog for that bad?
Yeah, there's no validation
No.
even from that. I mean, you already understand what that is
No.
when it comes to your life, right?
Because it's like, okay, so you have the money. For me, I'm not talking about for someone who has $0 in the bank account. For me, okay, now I just went up 100 mil. What do I do? Like, now what?
Now what?
It's the fisherman parable we were talking about. It's like,
Right.
guess what I would do tomorrow with $100 million in my bank account? Whatever I did today. It's not like, oh, now I can fly on a jet. Oh, now I can get a Rolls Royce. Oh, now I can buy my mom a house. I've done all that. I can do all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need the money for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not willing to sell my songs. And then 5 years from now, they use Losing Control in some fucked commercial for something.
Right.
Because they own it and they're trying to get their money back. So they're plugging Losing Control and what they want and all these weird ass fucking ads and whatever. And
That
I
you
can't
don't
do
agree
shit
with.
about it.
Yeah.
And they don't align with me in what I believe in. I'm
Right.
doing that for what? For money I don't need?
Right.
Nah.
But you know what's dope about that is that in order for you to even have that conversation, well, obviously it starts with you, but you got to have those conversations. I'm sure happen with your team, and there's got to be alignment in that.
Yeah.
All right. So like, I love the fact, from what I'm hearing, is there's a lot of alignment. It's not to say that there's not.
No,
issues.
no one
There's
on my team was like, take that.
Yeah.
No, they
But-
were all like, fuck that.
And it's the same thing, you know, I read in your book where you're about to start the tour in Europe
Yeah.
and you're having that moment of crisis where you're like, you can barely lift your arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we talked about Bugas, we talked about
Mhm.
Connor and Milan. You talk to them,
Mm-hmm.
Bugas and Connor first,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they're like, yeah, man, if you got to cancel this tour,
Yeah.
go and cancel the tour. You talk to Milan. Milan was super supportive of that.
Yeah.
How
always.
important is that, and how much does that strengthen the relationship with everybody?
A lot, man. It was really supportive because putting myself first is not something I'm used to. You know, letting people down is not something I'm used to. I've always put everyone before me, whether it's my mom, whether it's my fans, whether it's just my career, like, you know, so finally taking a step and saying, nah, bro, like, I got to do this for me, you know, and having people around me that don't look at me less, you know.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, bro, completely get it. Like, we got you.
Yep.
It was huge, man. It was huge. Still really tough, but it was big.
You still deal with it?
Nah, I don't have regrets about canceling that tour. No, I don't have any regrets.
When you have disagreements
Mhm.
with the team, how do you productively get through it?
We're working on that now, man. Me and Milan butt heads a lot, you know.
That's going to happen with any manager
Yeah.
artist relationship.
So here's the reality, right? Conflict is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's learning how to resolve the conflict. And me and Milan, you know, we would lock horns a lot because mistakes are going to happen. But the conflict would be me jumping into my like shame sort of place of like, the fuck, how'd this happen? Why would you do that? And naturally that's gonna put him on the defense, not creating like a safe environment for him to take accountability for something. So now we're gonna lock horns because he's gonna not take accountability because I'm coming at it from, and we both play our part in that, you know? I gotta approach it different. He's gotta own the mistake. But we have locked horns on that for a long time. But we recently had a great conversation that was a breakthrough of like acknowledging the pattern of conflict and how it's always the same shit and how we both got to do better. Me especially, like that. I think that is the thing that is, you know, tough for a lot of people is owning your part.
Yes.
You know, own your part.
Yeah.
Like, and the past couple of years, I've been really making it a point to like own my part, you know, and understand that I'm going to make mistakes. I'm flawed. Yeah. You know what? That approach wasn't great. That's on me.
I appreciate you saying that, Russ, because most of you artists think it's never your fault.
Oh man, it's usually our fault. Yeah. No, bro, it's conflict's gonna happen. You know, it's you got to learn how to fight.
What was it that moment that you guys? What do you think led to that breakthrough?
10 years of locking horns on the same shit.
Oh fuck.
We don't butt heads on anything but the same shit.
But the one,
which is when a mistake happens, and I jump into like biting your head off, which puts you on defense, which makes you not want to take accountability, which then makes me want to bite your head off, and then it just is a loop.
Yep.
You know, and it's just that every time.
That happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So,
but that's dope.
Kudos to Milan, though. I mean, Milan is like he's the greatest person in the world, man. Just like, you know, he's the nicest guy, and
he's good people.
And he's always believed in my shit to the utmost degree, and he wants to do everything he can to make this shit elevate and evolve and win and all that. So yeah.
But I say kudos to both of you, man.
Thank you, man.
It takes two people to tango, right?
Yeah, it does.
And so and yo, man, the reality is, from our class, 80 to 90% of the artists and managers don't work together anymore.
Yeah. Wow. Damn, it's true.
You guys are one of the few.
Yeah.
Right? And you're still doing amazing things and incredibly successful.
Yeah.
Is there, you know, for a newer artist, newer manager coming into this, or trying to figure it out, what's the one piece of advice that you would give to them to set, you know, clear boundaries?
Ooh. I think as the artist, you have to understand that this is your vision and it's your empire, it's your label. You're running your label. At the end of the day, you're a label owner as an independent artist. And you got to set the expectations and make the expectations clear from the get-go. And the expectations can't be perfection, right? They need to just be excellence.
Yeah, real shit.
You know, they need to be greatness. Not perfect. Greatness is not, there's no mistakes.
Yeah.
Perfection is not real, you know?
Right.
Set the expectations, and you can get specific with it. Like, hey, you know, if and when a mistake happens, I need you to own it. And the manager can say, all right, well, I hear that, got you. I need you to keep your head about you when a mistake happens and not bite my head off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's good advice, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the reality, man, this shit is a gauntlet navigating this shit, man.
Yeah.
There's so much like fuckery that goes on, and like, you know, just like whether it's promoters, whether it's people fucking up like the release of something,
it could be anything.
So much shit that's going to be a point of conflict of the artist having to hit the manager and be like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Right? So there's so many opportunities to have conflict. So you need to have your conflict resolution game on point as artist and manager.
What do you think most artists misunderstand about what a good manager does?
I think it's case by case. I think some artists need more from their managers, need something different. I think artists, it's like, it's boutique-y, you know? It's like managers have to sort of, it's got to be the right fit.
Yeah.
Each artist is looking for something different. I was never an artist that needed my manager to plug me with other artists or producers.
You're doing that all yourself.
I was doing that, you know?
Well, I mean, later on in your career because you were so self-sustainable. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
but even-
100%er, as you mentioned.
Yeah, but even later on, like Chomp 2 was just me DMing everyone.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
You know? So, but some artists might be like, hey.
By the way, sorry.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
What's that like to like, same project, I think it's the EP Chomp 2.5. It's Havoc, Static Selector,
Oh, yeah.
Alchemist.
What
does that feel like?
Bro, it's like, that to me is, I'm like living out my childhood dreams of just rapping on classic shit.
Yeah.
Feels like downloading classics off of YouTube and just freestyling with your friends.
Yeah.
Except now you're getting actual like custom beats from these guys.
Crazy.
That's crazy. But yeah, I think it just depends, man. It depends on what that artist needs, you know? And I think, you know, transparency is imperative. From the get-go of the relationship, there needs to be transparency so you eliminate the guesswork. You know?
Yep.
We shouldn't be guessing what your boundary is, and you're guessing what my boundary is, and I'm guessing what I think your role is and what you're supposed to do, and you're guessing what I'm supposed to. Let's lay it out on the table, what it's supposed to be. And like I said, that can look different for every artist. You know?
It sounds like to me like you're closer to an authentic balance between your personal life and your career.
Yeah.
You striving for that?
Yeah, I am, because in the past it wasn't that.
Did you know?
In the past it was, did I know?
Yeah. Deep down inside, I guess?
I think I didn't have the opportunity to have a life for a while. Because I blew up. I'm instantly on the road. My parents get a divorce. I'm buying my mom a house. I'm getting my dad situated. My brother got a divorce. I'm getting him situated. My sister's going to school. I'm paying for that. I'm on the road. I'm juggling a new career. I'm living out of just hotels and suitcases. And it wasn't until the pandemic hit was when I was like forced to curate a home life. And I got a girlfriend and I got dogs. And it's like, oh, this is nice. This is like, my house now feels like a home.
Like a home.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, I need to have more balance in my life, man. My mood and my overall outlook on my life is way too tied to how well my career is doing. You know? Like if I put out a song and it doesn't do what I want it to do, I'm miserable and I'm irritable and you know, it's like, nah, man. I got to be getting happiness and fulfillment from other areas of my life. So that just because that one isn't doing what I want it to do, I got 3 other things that are going well. You know, me and my girl are good. Like my dog just did something cute. Like I just scored 17 in a men's league game. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like having balance, having multiple revenue streams of happiness.
Right.
You know, it's like happiness revenue streams. Yeah.
Well, along those lines, there's a quote here from your book. If the only reason you want to achieve is to get approval and validation and recognition from other people, then if you receive recognition, will you lose your motivation? That is a scary prospect. But if you honor the gift, if you put in the effort, if you want to see progress and continuously work toward mastering something you love, if you chase after excellence, that's something that, regardless of external recognition, will inspire you to keep going. Dark motivation has an expiration date. Light motivation stays fresh forever.
Yeah. Real shit.
That's some real shit, man.
Yeah. I think for me, that's what like I'm after, man, is mastery and greatness.
I can see that, man. It's just like night and day. I still fuck with the interviews from back in the day.
For
Don't
sure.
get it twisted.
Yeah.
You might feel a type of way about it, but I know, I could tell. But like, man, I would watch those things and I'd be like, man, that guy gets it.
Yeah.
He's going for it.
That's the thing. It's like
there was a lot of adversity too when you were going through, and you were just like, you know, I'm pushing through.
I got it. You know what I mean? Like I can look back at those interviews and I can dissect it and be like, okay, I know what the point I was trying to make.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? It was just like, there was a lot of bitterness attached to it. Because it was also, a lot of it was coming from a, why aren't y'all fucking with me instead?
I did it the right way.
Look at me.
Yes.
I'm doing it the right way. look at what I'm talking about. Look what they're talking about. Look what I'm talking about. Look what I promote. Look what they promote. Why don't y'all fuck with me that
Yeah.
heavy? That was the undertone of that, you know? And I have this line on the new album on Wild where I say, I'm trying to be direct, but also give direction. Because in the past, a lot of my advice, interviews, tweets, whatever, was just being harsh and not providing, well, okay, point us to where you think we should be going then.
Right.
You know? Like, in the past, I might have tweeted something like, Spotify is just fucking bullshit. Right? Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Today, it's like, I fuck with Spotify, but I think they should hide the monthly listeners and stream counts.
Right.
That's a direction to go in.
Right.
It's not so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because before you say something like that, now you're on your back foot because everybody's coming at you.
Right.
Yeah.
And the message doesn't even get received.
No. What are you telling an artist to navigate that shit that's going through right now? If there's a piece of advice.
No matter what's going on, no matter what adversity you are facing as an artist, drop your way through it. The worst thing you can do is stop. You're going through some shit and you stop dropping, it's a wrap.
I agree.
It's a wrap.
100%.
That's the shit that one of the many things I commend my younger self for doing. No matter what was going on, I was dropping.
Yeah, that takes a lot, man.
Like when the hate was coming in crazy, I dropped Best on Earth. Now what?
Right.
Y'all still hate. Doesn't matter though. I'm dropping. I'm not gonna because the worst thing you can do is people are tearing you down and you stay down.
That's what people want.
Yeah, we did it.
They won.
We did it. Yeah. Like that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
They're tearing you down.
Yeah.
And then you stop dropping, which is just, you're defeated.
It's the worst thing.
Fuck that. I never let that shit happen. I was dropping through everything.
That's fire.
Drop through everything. There's nothing that a hit can't fix.
Nokia.
I'm telling you. For real.
Yeah.
Like, I always tell people, a hit circumvents everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've heard you say that before.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what's going on, how bad you think somebody is beaten. The odds are complete. A hit will get around all that shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Did anyone, like, all the people with the Drake and Kendrick shit, it's like, Drake dropped Nokia.
What are we talking about?
It's a massive record.
Yeah.
Like, at arguably the hardest time you would think for him to drop a big song and it be received well and all this, like, speculation. It's like, bro, like, just drop a hit.
And then you're good. Yeah.
And then you're good.
And he's got them too. And they can both look like they're both great artists.
Yeah, they're both incredible.
It's okay to like both of them.
Yeah, I was just talking about this in another interview, bro. It's like, like some of these fans have just made this shit feel like weird K-pop territory with those two.
Yeah.
It's like, this shit's supposed to be rap.
Yeah, it's supposed to be competitive, man.
I don't know, bro. But yeah, I think as an artist, you got to drop your way through everything, even when you're struggling and going through a tough time. Share that with the world. Share that with your audience via the music, Make a song about it. Like, shit, don't let, the bad moment go to waste. Flip it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of rappers, I'll show you something real quick.
Yeah.
Just want to get your thoughts on.
Who's this, a new rapper?
Nope.
Ha! The white rapper Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. I was shocked that somebody had me.
Crazy viral.
Shit. I'm just like, I never get recognized in any sort of like conversation for anything other than like most hated. So like, I was like, obviously it's cool that somebody considered me a part of that. I have to, this is how I've always believed. I think I'm just one of the greatest rappers ever.
You got to be your biggest fan.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I hope everyone else feels like that about themselves, but
yeah.
I'm my favorite artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that shit makes sense. I don't know. And it's like, the other thing is just, I saw obviously all the comments and stuff. A lot of people are just uneducated on my catalog, and that's okay. I get it. You only hear the hits.
If you know the catalog, it's pretty fucking hard to argue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you've only heard the hits, well, it's really hard to catch a hit that's just straight bars.
Yeah.
So the hits for me are going to be melodic. And so if you've only heard the hits, you're like, is this dude even a rapper? It's like, yeah. You just haven't heard it.
Yeah.
You know, but that doesn't, once again, people think that if I didn't see it, if I didn't hear it, it doesn't exist.
Right.
And it's like, that's how self-centered people are. Is like, if I didn't see the come up, it didn't happen. You're an industry plant. If I never heard your raps and only heard your hits, you're not a rapper because I said so. It's like, you're just uneducated. You're just admitting that you're uneducated.
Yeah. It's one of the things that you said is again, in one of your books or one of your interviews, you said just shut up and watch greatness.
Yeah.
I feel bad for those people who don't fuck with LeBron James because
it's crazy. You're missing out, bro.
You're missing out on so much. I have these arguments with my boys all the time because you're such a Michael Jordan stan. I'm a huge Jordan's the GOAT for me.
Yeah.
But I love Kobe.
Jordan's the GOAT for me too. Like,
yeah.
I
but
think
you gotta respect what
I think
LeBron
Michael
James
Jordan
done.
is the best basketball player ever. I think Kobe is the second best at playing basketball. I think LeBron has the greatest career out of anyone.
23 years at this point.
I think LeBron is a freak of nature. He's in his own
insane.
world.
The dude's my age, bro.
He's 40, dropping MVP numbers.
Yeah.
I think they should have just given him the MVP this year, just off of like the strength that this dude's doing it at 40.
Yeah.
You got 22-year-olds who can't do this shit.
Fair enough, Shay's killing it though.
I don't like his brand of basketball.
I know I saw you tweet that.
I just don't.
The Canadian in me is like, I don't know, brother.
Bro, and I didn't want to feed into fucking.
Because I get it. You stepped into the.
Bro, I didn't want to feed into. I hate feeding into narratives, like, because obviously I saw a lot of the tweets and the foul baiting and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me actually watch this dude play in every game I've watched, man. I'm like, bro, I don't like players who you're trying to get a foul instead of trying to get a bucket.
Right.
Get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is every time majority of the times you're getting the ball, you're trying to get a foul?
Mm-hmm.
Try to get a bucket.
Try to get the bucket. That's what the point of the game is.
I like watching people try to get a bucket.
Yeah.
That's beautiful basketball.
It's Kobe.
Yeah, bro. Trying to get a bucket. Yeah. I don't like watching people try to get fouls. I get it. You get your points. You win the game. That's all that matters. Get a bucket, dog.
You love basketball, huh?
Yeah. I love pure hoopers, bro.
Yeah. Are you doing pro-ams?
I'm going to do a pro-am in Vietnam is the plan.
Oh, crazy.
In October. October, November.
October,
is
November.
The plan. I got to get ready, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Got to get my cardio up, get my fucking handle right.
You get that right in the tour, man. You got Big Sean, Claudia opening up for the tour.
Yeah.
Amazing to see that, man.
Such a cool package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm honored, bro. It's like, you know, I didn't think that he would be down. I didn't think that Black would be down last year.
Yeah, right.
You know, because I'm just like, you guys are massive artists on your own right.
Right.
You know? But I just thought it'd be a cool fucking package. Like, I like their music and I know my fans like their music. So I'm like, why not? Like, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it worked out really well with Black last year.
Black's just like one of the best dudes in this business.
Yeah, man.
He's super chill, humble.
Yeah, we're trying to damn near add him to this one again too. Just like run it back. Yeah, because I'm just like,
just a fan of the guy. You like him?
Yeah, it's like it's just great, you know?
Yeah. That's dope. I mean, it does take like a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? You know, for Big Sean opening up for you, because I think a lot of people may have looked at that and was like, oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I think it's like I don't know. It's just like, yeah, like, why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it makes sense. Right?
Yeah. I think people don't understand touring is its own business. It's based off ticket sales.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's not like perception and all that. It's like, it's still just based off of ticket sales. Yeah. That's it. So there's a lot of guys and a lot of people who, you know, just are maybe out of touring for years. Like, they haven't toured. They haven't like touched the road like that. So, you know, I know Sean hasn't toured in mad long.
In a long time.
So I'm sure once he builds that up, like, arenas, you know what I mean? But it's like, you know, I've just always been really, really consistent with touring.
Yeah.
So
I think
the ticket buying audience for me is there.
You recognize that early on in your career that the hard ticket is the most important thing. That's how you could be #1 over here. You could have the most streams over here, but if you can't sell it in an arena, I mean, like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, well, because that's the only thing I can believe, bro.
Yeah.
You know, the streams, it's hard to like believe numbers on a screen. It's easy to believe bodies and seats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I heard you say this as well. People ask you, who are you a fan of? You said, I'm a fan of myself.
Yeah.
What does the future Russ look like, man?
I don't know. You know, part of me, I think, wants to find this nice balance where I have intention of who I want to be, but I'm open for the reroute.
Okay.
I'm down to be pleasantly surprised. And I think I've lived my life strangleholding life and not allowing any room for God's hands to touch my life. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't trust you. I only trust me. So I got it. Watch out. I'm going to make it go like this. I'm going to make it be this and this. And I think now I'm trying to get to this place where I'm intentional about with who I want to become. I want to be in better shape mentally, physically, spiritually, all that. I want to express myself more authentically than ever. I want to play big, press forward, you know, go after my potential. But I'm also trying to allow enough room to be pleasantly surprised by God's plan, universe's plan, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Later on in your life, you're starting to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Better late than never, man.
Yeah. Straight up.
Yo, I really appreciate the time, man.
Yeah. This was a fucking great combo, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I'm just a big fan of you and your music and everything you stand for. And there's a lot of growth here. You know, I kind of knew what to expect in this conversation a little bit, but like, I love how you're just diving into this, just trying to figure out, just to better yourself, not even for the sake of the career, but for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's also just being more honest and open, kind of like releases you from the shackles of anxiety sometimes for me. Like, the more honest I am in conversations, the more honest I am with myself, the more honest I am in my music, I don't feel so pent up.
Yeah.
Because I think some of that pent upness is this deep desire to be known, like truly known.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I open up, the more known I feel, the more relaxed I am. The less I open up, the more hidden I feel. And now I'm, you know? So I think just being honest is a good path forward.
No, that's dope. I'll say in honestly speaking too, like with this podcast, that was my, like, the reverse.
Yeah.
Because for me, if I'm being very honest, I felt like I had something here, and I feel like the conversations weren't happening at the high level with people in the business. And before I started this, but I sat on this idea for 7 years because I was so nervous to get in front of a camera.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
Because I thought it would be good.
Yeah.
And so like I did So
you sat on this idea for 7 years.
For 7 years.
Out of that fear of putting yourself out there more.
Yeah, and then I was also like managing Jesse,
yeah,
so it was like hard to do both of them. Right?
It was a good excuse.
It's a great excuse.
Yeah.
It was a great excuse.
Yeah.
But I will say this, I was also those, you know, oh fuck, what if I put something on and it doesn't go well and everything?
Sure.
But I came back to your one song a week.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, my first episode was with Troy.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what, even if it doesn't go crazy or whatever, who cares? Just go next week.
Yeah.
Next week. So I resonate a lot with that. So like, I drop an episode every 2 weeks. We're gonna start doing it every week. And a lot of that came from your mentality and how you do your thing, and then just kind of seeing that catalog compound. And now it's getting to a point where it's like, well, let's start it.
Yeah.
Show itself.
Consistency pays off, bro.
Consistency is everything, man.
I think you don't even waste your time looking at the scoreboard until you're, 100 episodes in.
Yeah. Russell says that.
Yeah, it's like, why? Like, what? It's, what's the point?
Yeah. We'll get there. I think we're on episode 31 or 32.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is like,
God willing,
Yeah, it's like, bro, I was just, man, like 30 songs in was straight from Limbo 2012. I dropped, 470 songs after that.
Jesus.
Like, that's what trips me out is when I get a DM from somebody and they're like, I just discovered you.
Yeah.
Right now on song 500.
Crazy.
What if I didn't put out song 500?
Right.
You got to keep going.
Wow. Yeah. New fans are just discovering you now.
You got to keep going.
I'm sure new fans are going to discover you here, man.
Yeah, bro.
Maybe. I think most of my audience knows who you are.
No, but still, it's like, it's a deeper point of connection.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
This is great, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This was awesome, bro.